Now
Okay,
recording.
now recording. Three,
Two,
two,
one.
one.
All right, we're gonna hope that clap came out okay in the recording. How's it going, everybody?
Yo,
Welcome
yo,
back to the
yo.
All Wrestling is Equal podcast. For those of you who weren't here last week, my name is Sway, and I'm joined by my beautiful co-host, Sarah Scissorhand.
Sarah, sizzle hands.
Scissor hands, get ready. You gonna get scissored. For those of you who haven't seen the show before, we like to play video games and talk about wrestling to try and get us to actually observe and actually watch the wrestling that we partake in every week, as opposed to watching it while doing something else. And
Yeah.
just trying to make sure that we appreciate what the wrestlers are doing, taking these, like, doing these crazy things on weekly television for us, for granted, and appreciating them. This week we're going to be talking about AEW Dynamite and the two big things coming out of wrestling as far as news is concerned. This is being recorded the Saturday right before Collision, and we just got done watching Hiroshi Tanahashi's retirement. For those who aren't familiar, one of the biggest New Japan stars just had his final match at Wrestle Kingdom, which is essentially their version of WrestleMania. It usually happens January of every year. And similar to John Cena, he had his last match. And it was interesting because a lot of the wrestlers that we watch on AEW were former New Japan wrestlers, and they all worked with Tanahashi. He played a really big role in getting their careers to where they are today. So it was really nice that AEW was able to work with New Japan and let them travel out, because there is news of another wrestling company out there that didn't let one of their performers who had really close ties with Tanahashi do the same thing. Sarah, what are your thoughts on Hiroshi Tanahashi coming in as a new viewer who watched mostly his appearances on AEW towards like the tail end of his career?
Yeah, so like the matches that I got to see when he would be on AEW were always like really good, and like obviously I had your information when you shared to me like his significance in New Japan and how he's like the, I guess, the CEO owner, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He leads New Japan, and obviously I could tell he was older. His matches were very slow in comparison to most matches that we see coming out of like New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely interesting to see him in New Japan as opposed to on AEW TV. It was weird because I obviously don't know all of the history of Tanahashi. I wasn't like necessarily emotionally invested,
Mm-hmm.
but seeing the honor and the um, just the show of the retirement, in
Mm-hmm.
a sense, like made me really emotional. I bawled my
Yeah.
eyes out. I think like the match itself, like we were talking about it while it was going on, there were definitely a bunch of spots that were set up for him to be able to take his time and not feel rushed and like push
Mm-hmm.
himself too far, because he is obviously older. Like
Yeah, his knees are really bad. Sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
Good.
No, you're good. No. And I thought, like, obviously, I know Okada from AEW. I didn't really have a lot of his New Japan background either, although I watched his 3 matches with Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I was like, holy shit, who is this guy? Like, this is not what I see in day to day TV. So, like,
Yeah.
for Okada to be his last opponent, I thought that the match was really, really good. I think that Tanahashi wouldn't have wanted to go out any other way.
Mm-hmm.
I love the spots where Okada had his like heel moments, but then by the end, it was just about a show of respect. And oh,
Right.
my heart, like, oh, it was so good. Like, this is what wrestling is all about. And like, it was, I think I told you, it was just like a very interesting perspective now, seeing Sting's retirement at AEW, going out in a win, and how they treated him and have treated him since retirement. And then recently seeing John Cena's retirement, which at WWE, which arguably fans were very disappointed in, which I can completely understand, because now I get the like over the top retirement, like embellished.
Yeah.
An
hour.
Yeah,
get on a cart and get pulled around the Tokyo Dome.
It was ridiculous.
It was so funny.
Like,
we were there for it though. Yeah. We were in it.
It was so good, and like I was just like, "Ooh, I know John Cena fans are fuming."
I know.
But like, for someone that doesn't really know a lot about Tanahashi, I think that they did a really good job of just like pouring the emotion and all that into it. I thought it was a really beautiful ceremony, and I do wish Shinsuke Nakamura was there. I wish that he could have been his last opponent, because that, like, he did his move in the match, and it just, it would have been perfect. But Okada really did. It was beautiful to see him drop the "I'm a bad guy, I'm a piece of shit," like, you know, then to ultimately just be like, mad respect, you know, like you deserve a good person to end your career. So
yeah, you brought up a really good point. The last time we watched a show from New Japan, I can't remember what it was. I think it was the Kenny and Okada matches before All In Texas in July, and you were saying that you liked New Japan specifically because it was just wrestling. And in the West, I guess it's more the melodrama, the cheating to win, the being a heel, the emotional investment. Whereas in New Japan, it's just like two guys beating the shit out of each other until one of the guys can't get up anymore. It was nice to see that out of Okada again, because he's always like, he's wrestling a Western style now, which as a heel means like the shenanigans, the cheating, the slowing down in the ring, and working what they call a methodical pace, which is just a nice way to say slow for Tanahashi, with him being as banged up as he is. At the end of the hour-long retirement ceremony, they had a little what's it called, a montage, and he's been wrestling since 1999.
That's crazy.
So you could tell, like, even coming out for his entrance, he had to take it slow. And but it was nice to see, and knowing what we know, granted it's all speculative, right? We all get our wrestling sources from the same places, who get theirs from the same places, and it's all basically the telephone game. Knowing that Shinsuke, he's just like, well, you're not really doing anything with me, and I'd really like to wrestle Tanahashi in his last match. Can I get my release? And then them denying the release, and just kind of stringing them along, I guess, because they even did shows in Japan. Shinsuke referenced Tanahashi at the actual live shows, which got people like talking, like, are these guys going to wrestle? Are they going to do it? Because Shinsuke, a couple of years ago, he wrestled in Noah. He wrestled the Great Muta in his last match, but that was for another promotion. But because New Japan have a working relationship with AEW, they purposefully denied his release, B, didn't let them have the match, and C, seemed to do it for mostly petty purposes. And
which is a shame.
It really stinks, because WWE has always faced criticism for their employees being independent contractors, even though they can only wrestle for WWE and when WWE want them to. And there was even an interview where Bayley was interviewed by like a morning talk show where they were just like chit-chatting, and like WWE from the outside seems like pretty glamorous, I guess, as far as like getting to travel and doing all these amazing things because of what you do. And the people interviewing Bayley were just, man, it must be great, because like you get to fly all over the world, and you get to do all this, and you get to do all that. Man, WWE must be really treating you guys right. And Bayley's like, no, we all have to pay for that ourselves. And then
so messed up.
Yeah. And then we essentially we're independent contractors, so their work expenses, blah, 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 blah. And you can see like the look on their faces where they're just like, what is she talking about? Because they don't know. People don't know how shady like the wrestling business really is. And sorry to stumble onto another tangent, but when you were talking about people being pissed at John Cena losing his retirement match, I felt like a lot of that came from the more casual viewers that started watching WWE either again or for the first time because of his film career. Because he's been like killing it in Hollywood 2 years. He brought fans back to the product who aren't really familiar with the tradition of going out on your back, choosing to lose to put over the person that beats you to make them look stronger. Because then 2, 3, 4 years down the line, they can be like, I beat John Cena, I beat Goldberg, you know, especially with Gunther. Like, he looks like $1 million now, even though his last couple of years have been jobbing to Jey Uso. And now they kind of dropped the ball on him too. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I just was gonna say, I think, like, obviously, Tanahashi lost his last match, but I think it was such a different perspective of that because the way that they treated him, they gave him the ceremony, they brought the emotion and everything, the respect, yet he lost to a heel. But I just think that the way that they did it was so much better and so much more respectful than they did for John Cena. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just different, you know? Like, they wanted Gunther to be hated. They wanted him to be this ultimate bad guy who stomps on all these old men. Like, that's what they want for him. But for Okada, I think, and just the respect that New Japan gives to pro wrestling, and the fact that Tanahashi is such a viable part of New Japan, I think that's why the loss feels different, you know?
For sure. Yeah, and I had something wanted to say, but I don't remember it. So we're going to move on. All right. Second bit of news. Huh?
Can we start the game?
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead and pick your character. For those of you who've never played this game before, it's called Zombie Estate. Essentially, you fight waves of zombies, and every round you can upgrade your weapons as time goes along. Well, there's not much else to it. It's just on the show, we just like to play a little something to have on in the background. The main focus is meant to be the podcast, but highlighting the game is a part of the show as well. So what Sarah's looking at right now are the hats that you can purchase with the coins that you get for every wave that you finish. Sorry to go off on another tangent. And they give you extra little bonus stats on top of the stats that the characters already have.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's the second part of news. Whenever we want to start the round, we hit select, and when we both hit select, it'll start the round. Okay.
I don't know how to shoot. How do I shoot?
So you aim with your right stick, and then you shoot with your right trigger. You gotta hold the trigger down and aim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So WWE SmackDown were in Berlin this week. And so WWE SmackDown, they were in Berlin this week, and they brought back a match stipulation that we haven't seen in WWE in a really long time, called a 3 Stages of Hell match. And Drew McIntyre challenged Cody for the WWE title. The last time we saw a 3 Stages of Hell match, I believe, was in 2001 when there was one between it was Triple H and Steve Austin. And the way those matches are typically structured is they'll have just a regular match at the beginning, and then in the middle, you're supposed to be able to pick 3 stipulations. They usually have like a regular match in the beginning. The middle will be like a last man standing match, or like some sort of hardcore match just to kind of like amp up the energy. And then the third is usually a steel cage. So they brought it back. Oh shit, I forgot about the upgrade tokens, but we should be fine. Cody and Drew had their match in Berlin, and not only is Drew McIntyre the new WWE champion, so who beat Cody. Cody's held it since He won it back from Cena at SummerSlam, and before that, he was champ for, I guess, about a year, because he won it at last year's WrestleMania, lost it to Cena, and then won it back at SummerSlam. During the steel cage portion of the match, however, there was a surprise return. Jacob Fatu had to get like emergency dental work or something done. He helped. So it was a little confusing. I saw the clip on TikTok. Okay, so we'll go to the shop, and then so if you hit Y, you'll have that little yellow circle on your screen is called an upgrade token, and so you can upgrade each of your weapons 3 times. So you just keep hitting A on it until it'll say upgrade, upgrade, upgrade. And if you want to read underneath the name of the gun, it'll show you what the upgrades do. It's typically like first upgrade will give it more damage, the second one will give it like a bigger clip essentially, and then if you want to, you can buy some guns from the shop and upgrade them as well with your upgrade tokens. I usually I'm playing the bow and arrow girl, so she's pretty good with just her base weapon for a bit.
About a shotgun.
Hell yeah. If you hit, you can upgrade it. You get 2 upgrade tokens every round. And then if you go back to the store, up at the very first row is going to be your ammo if you want to buy ammo for it. Yeah. You just keep hitting A until...
Is there ammo for my other weapon?
Your base weapon doesn't need ammo. So like your laser thing, you're good. Every character's base weapon is going to have unlimited ammo, which is cool because she's the bow and arrow girl, so she just shoots infinitely.
I'm gonna do my shotgun. Okay, go ahead.
Drew's like making his way. He's crawling out the door, and the voice of Jesse Ventura was ringing in the back of my fucking head. You remember that Saturday night's main event that we watched, and Jesse was just like, "Why is he walking out the door?" Oh, no. What? Oh my god, it was so fucking funny. He was just publicly burying like the whole like steel cage walking out the door stipulation, because it kind of like ruins the drama of the match, I guess.
Right, because the whole point of a steel cage is to be like, okay, it's all about the men in the ring. Like,
no interference. Like, we're settling this now, blah blah blah. But WWE has always had the stipulation where you can escape the cage. And that's typically for like a heel, get out of jail free card. So Drew was making his way out, and Jacob Fatu, he came out from outside the ring in the fucking all black with the fucking ski mask reveal that they've done for 4 years now, if not longer. And he just pulled it off, and it was Jacob Fatu, and he started attacking Drew. And we're just like, oh my god, like he's mad. Like even commentary was just like, he's mad at Drew for some reason.
For some reason.
Yeah, I don't know if they like. I wasn't really paying attention, honestly. I was just like, what's going on? So he attacked Drew, and then out of nowhere he starts attacking Cody.
Oh.
And in the amount of time that it takes Jacob to finish like beating up Cody, fucking Drew's out of the cage. And so at this point you're just like, what is going on? Like, whose side is he on, basically? Like, did he do it because he likes Drew? Did he do it because he hates Cody? I don't know who took him out or anything like that how they like wrote him off of TV, which is what they usually do. It was just a really weird like thing for it to be just such a monumental title, because that title change, because it's the biggest title in the company, so you want Drew, the challenger, the person who's going to be killing Superman, essentially, because essentially what they made Cody's character is like Superman, Homelander, whatever you want to call him. He does it by like getting out of like running away. His reward for being a coward is the WWE Championship.
That's actually crazy. What are they doing?
It's not a good way to book. Yeah, it's not a good way to book your heel champion. It's not a good way to book your babyface champion, because I don't know. There's got to be some sort of follow up. I feel like there's gonna be hopefully some faction between Jacob and Drew to kind of like explain the whole thing, but wouldn't Fatu want to also be the champion?
Yeah.
It's just a little weird. WWE's been getting very interesting, to say the least, but not interesting in a good way. So yeah, it's very newsworthy. It popped a rating, I guess. It got people talking. I assume they did it not to copy AEW, but just like to have, like, it's a big show. It's overseas. You want to have like a big moment that you can be like, oh, remember the last time we were in Europe there? Drew won the title. Don't talk about how he won the title or anything, but he won the title. But it's good for Drew. He hasn't been champion since 2020, which is kind of bummed a lot of people out as well, because he won the title in front of nobody. He won the Rumble in February. What a difference a month makes, right? Because the Rumble in January had like a full crowd, and it was like this whole like hype thing, but then you go to WrestleMania and it's a week after lockdown, and it's in the Performance Center in front of literally no one, and there's Drew's supposed to be like, yeah, I won the title, yeah. But it's like, it's him, Brock on the ground, the referee. It was bad, dude. Like, you could hear the commentators twice, because you could hear them on TV, but also like their voices fucking echoed because they're 5 feet away from them, talking like loudly into a microphone. So like, what are you gonna do? So good for Drew. I don't know what the heck they're doing with Drew. I feel bad for him, honestly, because it's just like, hey man, you won the WWE title, not in any way that makes you a credible threat for the foreseeable future, but hey, you're the champ. You go get him, champ.
Yeah, right. You get it. You get it this time.
It was a much more interesting story this time last year, I guess, when Cody and Kevin had that feud, and they were just like, the whole premise behind the story was like, watch out, Cody, because the more and more people you screw over, you like fight for the belt, the more people that want your head on a platter, you know? And it was kind of like teasing a Cody heel turn, but obviously you don't want your biggest money making draw to turn heel if he doesn't have to.
Right.
So yeah, I hope they do something good with him. WWE still has an old people epidemic. I don't know what else to call it, but an old people epidemic. All their biggest stars are in their 40s or near retirement, but good for him. I hope he gets everything that he deserves, because he has worked hard. He's very much a WWE success story, in the fact that he left in 2010 and came back. He made himself a bigger name. He was Cody before Cody, and I mean, of course there were other people to do it too, like your favorite wrestler in the world, Jeff Jarrett. When he was bouncing back and forth between companies in the 90s. It's so funny. Sarah and I were watching old WCW Nitros. This was back in 2022. We were still watching WWE, and we were watching AEW, and like, I started getting an itch to watch like old TNA and stuff too. And everywhere we fucking turn, it's Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett's in WCW. It was funny because he had like just debuted not too long ago. Like, we started watching, and then like maybe a year and a half in, he debuted, and we're just like, oh my god, we're witnessing history. We're witnessing the debut of Jeff Jarrett. And so like, there was a random SummerSlam in Tennessee where Jeff Jarrett was there. Like, wrestling fans know the history. Like, Jeff Jarrett was one of the founders of TNA, and he was a big part of like the early stages of TNA. And it was just the whole thing. It was really funny. No, you're good. Yeah, it takes you a bit. And so and it was so funny that Drew, that point, my point was like, good for Drew. He made himself something. He went to the indies and he did his thing, and he came back, but it took them a while to get their asses in gear, because he hasn't really won a lot of actual championships in WWE. We expected more coming out of 2024, because he had that big feud with Punk, and they just didn't do anything with him, and it kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts? I know I went on a bit of a tangent because I gave you the entire history of Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, you're good. No, so it's very interesting that he was the one to beat Cody. But yeah, no final thoughts.
Hell
Should we
yeah.
get going on AEW Dynamite?
Yeah, let's get into the show. I wrote these 3 things and I wanted to introduce a segment, if we could, called Previously on AEW Dynamite. I wrote down these 3 things and I thought I was clever. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All
Give
right.
it to me.
Everybody hates Max. Everybody hates Max. Everybody loves Mox.
Like, what a time.
Yeah. Mercedes crashing out.
Mercedes crashed out.
And Tony's mega problems. That's what I would say are the 4 biggest, I guess, storylines coming out of AEW last week and like throughout the World's End fallout. So I was interested to see what stories we're going to develop, especially because we had that conversation last week. Why did Hangman win the title? If we could have just gotten where we are in the story with Hangman as champion, you know, and I feel like it might have been a stronger move storyline wise than if he had lost it to Joe and then Joe dropped it to Max. Yes, there was the parallels, I guess, of Joe beating Max at the World's End a year or 2 ago. But in my head, or maybe I'm misremembering, that was the only relevance that it had to be at World's End, I guess. I don't know. It would have been cool to do it if they had done it at Full Gear, because they are so close to New York and Max is from Long Island. So it would have been cool to do it that way, but c'est la vie. Such is life. Yeah, it's good to see because they had a lot of women's matches last week. They got a pretty big spotlight on the New Year's show, which I appreciated.
Yeah, for sure. So, we had JR on commentary.
Yeah.
For this Dynamite, which
they were
was
in
fun.
Oklahoma. Yeah,
Oklahoma. Yeah.
So JR, he obviously he's getting up there in age, but he's been through it even since leaving AEW. I don't know if you remember, he had like colon cancer or something like that that he had surgery for a while back, and then there was I don't know if you remember, there was a tweet that Ric Flair made about Jim Ross that was in really poor taste, and like Ric Flair just has I don't know, I think he's just old, and he's just old. He's a boomer, and he's just like, he tweeted something. I meant to pull it up, but at the same time, like, I don't want to bring any more attention to it than you need to. Yeah. He essentially just made a tweet in bad taste, and then when people were upset that he made a crass joke because he is from the 1920s.
He's old as hell.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm just joking, you know, us old school wrestlers, you know, we just gotta blur the line sometimes, you know. Oh, yeah. But it's good to see JR.
Yeah, good to see JR. They obviously love him there, it being Oklahoma, so it was nice to have the Hall of Fame voice of wrestling.
The Hall of Fame voice of, yeah, he's definitely nostalgic for me, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Because he's essentially who I grew up with, but he did not have a good time when he was working for WWE, because Vince hated him for whatever reason.
Because Vince is Vince.
Because Vince is Vince, and if he sees someone weaker than him at any point, he's gonna like take advantage of that. But he always got the short end of the stick. But he eventually just like left WWE and retired, and then he was the English commentator for New Japan for a while. I specifically remember he was the English commentator, and it was interesting to hear. But you could tell even in 2018, he's just like, he has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, oh no.
You know, it's like, who's this Hiroshi Tanahasi?
Yeah, he's just here for a good time.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, and ultimately, that's all it needs to be. Like,
yeah, let him have his time in the sun. Let him retire in peace. And make a quick buck. I'm sure he does like conventions and signings and stuff like that too.
Oh, for
So
sure. Yeah, for sure.
he's definitely sitting pretty.
Yeah, so we had JR in commentary, and then before we got our first match of the night, we learned that Jet Speed was attacked backstage, and they're not cleared, and we don't know fully who attacked them, and they were set to go up against the Demand, so obviously we assume somehow they're involved with it, with the whole cashing, or with Bandito and the bounty hunting and all that fun stuff going on. So we assume that it's something to do with the Demand or Don Callis family.
Yeah, it was a little awkward because Renee was out there doing the report, because they always like cut back to Renee when stuff like that happens. But then as she was being like, "Oh, we're not sure what happened," they came out like immediately. What, and like we're just like, "Oh, Renee, you don't know what happened?" And so it was like, I don't know, leave some tension, I guess, for the show. Have like a little storyline woven in between the show,
Yeah, for sure.
But they just like came out and immediately was just like, "Oh, it was us. Ha ha ha.
Yeah,
Aren't we bad guys?"
Yeah, and they premiered Jake Doyle.
Oh, Jake something. Yeah.
Jake something with the Don Callis family.
Apparently Jake Doyle is his real name.
I was like, who the fuck is this? Like, obviously I don't know who he is.
Yeah. I'm like vaguely familiar with his work. Like I told you when we were watching Dynamite that he was on the Indies. He was in DPW, actually, the Deadlock podcast I listen to. They have a wrestling promotion, and he and Speedball were a tag team there.
That's cute.
Called Speed something. Yeah.
That's so cute.
So yeah, the backstage attack happened, and then they were supposed to be Jungle Boys. I keep calling him Jungle Boy, but I should just say Jack Perry. He's got the music, and it makes me think Jungle Boy. So Jack Perry, he needs partners because they were supposed to be his partners for the trios match.
Yeah, trios match that we'd have later in the show. Yeah.
But there was a little bit of tension there because we're just like, oh man, like he's betrayed a bunch of people like in his last couple of years in AEW. Like who could he possibly get to be his friends?
I mean, yeah, but it was kind of obvious. For me at least, it was obvious who it was going to be. I guess that they could have swerved us a little bit.
Yeah, who else could it have been though, honestly? Because the second they brought up the little mystery partner graphic, we're just like, it's the Bucks, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's got to be two people. Wonder who
a tag team feuding with Don Callis, who just had a match with them a month ago.
Yeah.
But it was a good way to risk getting too far ahead of ourselves. It was a nice little surprise, a new way to debut their new / old gimmick that I think they're winding down, so they're bringing back the like nostalgia. People are speculating as to why the Elite got back together. It's like number one, to help Kenny because he's still pretty banged up and he can't really go as hard as he could anymore, especially with like the diverticulitis. But also, I feel like the Young Bucks are winding down their career as well, so they want to like start playing the hits, kind of like Tanahashi. We started off with a match between Jon Moxley and Shelton Benjamin. They hyped it up on Collision. We talked about it last week, and so sorry, I'm still in the shop. Do I want anything?
Yeah. So this was for the Continental Eliminator match. They hyped it up on Saturday on Collision. Basically, another one. If he wins here, he gets a shot
at the Continental shuttle. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
So it was good because I really like seeing Shelton Benjamin outside of the Hurt Business, because I started watching when I was watching WWE as a kid. Shelton Benjamin was always one of my guys because he was really impressive in what he could do, especially with WWE being the land of the giants. I guess it was interesting to see that more athletic wrestling style, I guess, coming from him. And Jon Moxley is Jon Moxley, so he's gonna make everyone and anyone look good. So it was bound to be a good match. What did you think of it?
It was really good. I like you said, we don't get a lot of Shelton Benjamin solo work. So it was really nice to see him by himself. He's very, very athletic, a heavy hitter. He paired very well with John. You could tell that they were kind of doing things by the seat of their pants, because like you could tell that they were talking to each other, especially at certain points in the match, which was pretty funny. But I thought that they made a really good pairing.
It was interesting. They were each trying to wrestle their own style of match, because Shelton would like try to suplex him and try to just kind of wear him out, but then John would like knock him out. I say knock him out, but like I mean knock him outside of the ring, like with a clothesline or something like that. So it was interesting to see, like, because then Shelton would go for like submissions, because he was like a NCAA like amateur wrestler, so he was doing like the wrestling, and John would match that with the jiu-jitsu, because they're like, oh, jiu-jitsu, John does jiu-jitsu, everybody in the Blackpool Combat, the Death Rider, they all do jiu-jitsu. They all do jiu-jitsu together. Yeah. They all like fucking beat the shit out of Yuta, and they do jiu-jitsu.
Oh, yeah. They hate Yuta.
They hate Yuta, they do jiu-jitsu. But yeah, there was a point in the match where they went over the barricade, and then they had a whole little like brawl spot, even though the referee should have counted them out. And like, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say, that is one thing that like really bothered me about this match. I like all the matches before, they really pushed the Continental rules. You know, there's a 20-minute time limit.
No interference.
There's countouts. Like, they really pushed that. And even coming into this match, they were like, for Shelton, a draw is just enough. Like, they kept pushing that narrative of like, he doesn't have to win, he just needs to draw, and he gets that opportunity. And just like, I felt like the ref didn't like, they pushed the drama a little too much in this match, to the point that it was like, is this even a Continental rule match? Because you're not following the rules. Because they even went up in like in the stands and brawled up the stairs. The ref was out there. I'm like, why are you not in the ring counting these men out?
Yeah,
what's going on?
That's annoying, but yeah, it's just those moments where you kind of have to suspend your disbelief for the drama. But yeah, I do it, like, I guess since it's not the actual tournament itself, it's just kind of a singles match, they can kind of fudge it a little bit, which I appreciate, you know, because that's not their style. I guess that would be more like a New Japan thing, where everything's just like a straight contest, maybe a little action outside the ring, but other than that, it's just two people fighting. But
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, please.
I was just gonna say, like, the whole mentioning of like the draw, like that being the drama point for the match. Like,
oh yeah, as they were getting towards the end of the match, I guess they were bringing up the time limit a lot.
Yeah, a lot. And I'm like, are they actually gonna draw this shit? Like, I got annoyed with it during the in that classic. I was like, they're having too many draws. Like, this is, I want to see real matches where there's a winner and a loser. So I really fully expected it to end in a draw, because they were pushing it so hard. Yeah,
they made a point to mention the fact that John won with like 5 seconds on the clock, which they could have fudged, but it's just crazy because I get what you mean. I even brought up a point here. Like, my question of the week is, if a draw in a Continental Classic Eliminator match is the same thing as winning, why not draw out the clock? Why go for the win?
Yeah.
And I feel like they were trying to cover for that, I guess. It's still essentially a win, so like, why wouldn't he do that? And then I heard MVP go something like, he wants to win, he wants the bragging rights, he wants the, you know, then they're trying to kind of like explain away the lapse in logic. I'm gonna try and go for this money right here. You see it? Okay.
Yeah, but it was overall like a really good match. There was a lot of spots, like a lot of moves. I was like, holy shit. Like there was, I think it was called the big time suplex off the top rope with Shelton. Like that shit was crazy. John fucking flying out of the ring. You don't see that very often.
No, you definitely don't see him leave his feet like that. He was a little lighter, I guess, in WWE, so he could get away with like, and WWE's dives, like they don't get any like more dangerous than what he did, you know. So it was safe enough for him to do like 200 times a year when he was wrestling for them. But yeah, he's after like joining the Blackpool Combat Club and putting on all that muscle, you really don't see him leave his feet like that anymore. So it was surprising and nice to see. There was a pretty, I don't know if we should highlight the botch, but there was a botch where Shelton usually does like his corkscrew kick where he'll like throw a super kick and his opponent will essentially like throw it away, but he like comes back and spins and like kicks him in the face. But it was very clear on the hard cam that Shelton was a mile away from John.
A mile away.
About where John tried to do like his clothesline out of the corner, Shelton would reverse it into his move the pay dirt, which is essentially like flatliner where you just like pick the person up and you like slam them on their face basically, but he does like a jumping version of that, and I don't know if like the timing was off or what, but they messed that up right after the kick, so they took a second to just be like, all right, let's breathe, let's refocus, and then the match got better after that. They even I noticed that they redid the spot. They're really putting over Shelton's move as just like, oh, like very few people kick out of the move,
and John just became one of them.
It adds on to the I love seeing Shelton get his flowers, you know, because it's awesome being a fan of his from way back when. So it ended up being a really good match. John won in the last couple of seconds, which keeps Shelton strong because it's like it's a surprise. It's a technical win, as they say. No one looks weaker, no one looks foolish. Both two of the greatest wrestlers in the world, but John just so happened to be better on this particular night. And I appreciate that a lot about AEW, how even though it's pretty like apparent just looking at the card, you're just like, okay, that person's gonna lose, that person's gonna lose, but they're gonna make it interesting, you know, like, and who knows, maybe like tuning in you'll see a surprise win and that you didn't see coming, and that's like the intrigue of it, I guess. But very good, solid stuff. AEW puts on really good weekly television, or weekly matches at least, even though like the storylines can get a little muddled, but
they really did make them look good. And I know even just like watching John, sorry, I'm healing.
No, you're good.
Watching John like from the beginning of the match, because like they both extended, or I guess Shelton extended his hand in respect at the beginning of the match. And John, being the heel that he is, he slapped his hand away. He's like, yeah, right. And even leading up to the match, John was like, you know, he's a good wrestler. It's fine, you know, like, but you're not better than me. You're going to have to do more than hurt me. And as the match progressed, you could see in John's face that he looked impressed and almost shocked at how much of a fight that Shelton was putting up. And then at the end,
I remember
he shook Shelton's hand, which was awesome. Like, kind of playing on that line of John being a bad guy, but also having this baby face turn. And it was interesting to see how that progressed throughout the match. One thing I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about these eliminator matches? I felt like Shelton deserved a real shot at the title. So it's like, are we going to continuously get these eliminator matches where nobody actually gets to fight for the belt?
I think it's a good way to kind of explain away why this random person is getting a title match, I guess. And it goes back when AEW had the ranking system, right? You would have your divisions. And even though a wrestler isn't at the top of the division, let's say they're like number 2 or number 3 at the division based on the ranking system, not necessarily based on anything happening storyline wise or how fans might feel someone should be treated as far as like opportunities go. So it's a good way to, like, now that there isn't a ranking system, it's a good way to kind of like explain away why this random person is having a match with the champion, you know, because like he wasn't in the Continental Classic this year, so you'd assume that any challengers for the Continental Classic would first come from people who were actually in the tournament. So because Shelton wasn't in the tournament, that it's a good way to essentially explain why it's Shelton and not anyone else, because you'd expect it to be like Okada, but in storyline, in universe, I guess you could say, it was like, okay, Shelton's maybe like 3rd or 4th in line, but he puts his position up in the rankings on the line against Moxley, but if he loses, he goes to the bottom, I guess. He goes to the back of the line, which I forgot to mention. Another thing I really liked about the match was, yeah, they were talking about the match, but there were a couple times there where it seemed like John was just like talking shit. And you could tell that Shelton was getting angry. So like he was just like, come on, boy, you know, like hit me. And like he was just tanking it. And they really put over the fact that they're really pushing each other to their limits, I guess.
Yeah, definitely quality. They both looked really, really good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's next. Yeah, I'm excited to see what's next for John, but especially what's next for Shelton, because hopefully this leads him to more singles success, even though Bobby's not around and they're essentially a tag act or a group.
Yeah. But one thing AEW does is they really do try and let their tag teams still have opportunities for themselves.
Yeah. We I'll talk about it a little more. Well, I guess I could talk about it now. But AEW, when they first started, their roster wasn't big, so a lot of their tag teams, they would usually have like singles matches against each other, and I really miss that about my wrestling. I don't really see it as much anymore. Like, usually have like the tag teams that are in a feud, they'll go in like a trios match or like a random like 8-man, 10-man, but it's never like the actual members of the teams fighting each other one-on-one. It really reminded me of those days, seeing Nick Jackson do his thing during the trios match. Spoiler alert. Because it brought me back to the days of like old AEW when they first started, when like Nick would wrestle Rey Fenix randomly one week and it'd be one of the best matches on television, you know, just randomly. But we can talk about it more as we progress through the show.
So next up, we had a backstage segment of Darby looking around for Pac. He's trying to find him. He's ready to fight him, and he wants that match. So we just get him, no like talking or anything, just him looking around for Pac. And then we get a Tanahashi retirement that we talked about. So we got to see a little bit of package of that, and they talk about Okada beating him, which was really cool to see. And then right after that, we get a promo of MJF. They roll the Kenny What If highlight reel, and then kind of like talk about their match, or not talk about it, but show like clips of their matches. And he's set to return next week at Maximum Carnage.
Oh yeah, I remember they had the promo segment last week when Kenny showed up on the screen. I remember you had asked me, I was like, have they fought before? And I remember telling you no, but I guess they just had a random match. I assume it was like early on in Collision's run where they were trying to get people to watch, which we should find a way to go back and watch that if we can.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna die.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh shit.
So after all that we get our trios match that they previewed at the beginning, where Jack Perry needed 2 partners. So it's the Demand, and it ends up being Jack Perry and the Young Bucks. And the Young Bucks come out in their old gear.
Old gear. I'm like, what year is it?
That was cool to see. I was really excited. I personally love the Young Bucks. I'm not gonna lie. So it was cool to see them back with Jack Perry. I feel like this was just a classic, like, fun match. We got lots of like goofiness from Ricochet with the cowboy hat.
Oh yeah.
I love Ricochet. He's just such a good. He's a very good ragdoll. He sells very well.
Makes everybody look really good. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a couple of really good spots for like Toa, the Samoa drop on all 3 of them together. That was crazy. One thing I have to say about the match is, like, I don't know, like, if this is like traditional for trios, but I was like, who the fuck is Legal? I did not see very many tags going on.
Yeah, they were doing all the flippy dippy spots, and I remember Ricochet was taking a lot during the early portions of the match, and I'm like, does he have partners? The second after I thought that, they did a spot where Bishop and Toa Leona try to help Ricochet, essentially. I don't know if he's like their boss or if they're partners or what's going on, but I'd like to think that they're like all on an equal level. So they were trying to help Ricochet, but they would get tossed out. They would get thrown out of the ring like immediately, and then the Young Bucks would get back to jumping on his head, so
it was pretty funny.
And it was like they're good like comedy spots. Ricochet is like a smarmy heel, so it's fun for us as an audience to watch him get knocked around, but it doesn't make him look weak, I guess, because he still wins matches. He's still athletically like incredible, so he's kind of like Darby in the sense where he can take a couple losses and not really lose any of his aura, as the kids would say. They're making Toa. I wanted to look up who Toa Leona was related to, because they were making him look really good in this match.
They really were.
He's Samoan, and like all the Samoans are in 2 families, like the Ming's family and then the Rock's family, who are like the Anoa'is and Roman and the Usos and all them, and then Samoa Joe. So that's the joke, right? Is like everybody else is related to each other, and then there's Joe. Yeah. So I want to say maybe Toa's related to Ming in some weird way. Like maybe they're like cousins or something, but he's like, Ming's kids are like Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, who are in like WWE now. But yeah, he definitely got a chance to shine in this match for sure. No, the babyface is the one.
Yeah, because after that, Mark Davis and Jacob Doyle come out and attack the Young Bucks and Jack Perry.
Oh yeah, you're right. Shit, I'm so sorry. I gotta write down the winners of these matches. I'm just like, I just assumed that I remember. Thank you.
This is why I'm here.
I wanted to bring up right before. There's a spot that Jack does where he like, I don't know if he mistimed it this week, or if he just, I don't know, if he just can't do a backflip, which is weird. But like, he gets thrown into the corner and he does a counter where he like, I'm clearing the room if you want to fall back a little bit, we can come up. There's a move where he like tries to backflips over somebody, and then he grabs him by the waist and does like a German. But like, I don't know what it was about this week's, but it looked like he was gonna go like straight down. Like he didn't get the momentum for the full backflip, and I worry that this man's gonna like just spike himself in the neck
to oblivion.
Essentially. So that was I wanted to bring that up because we were talking about like the beatdown angle, and there wasn't much to say after that. The Don Callis family are doing Don Callis family things. Where's
Yeah.
Okada? Where's Takeshita? Where's Kyle? Where's
Where's Don Callis?
where's Don Callis? Yeah, okay, yeah. So
Yeah,
one of the biggest angles coming out of your pay-per-view, and it's been 2 weeks and nothing.
well,
We haven't heard a peep.
In their defense, they were in Japan.
Yeah, they were paying respects to Tanahashi.
Yeah, in their defense. So, and then Jet Speed comes out too, and
oh yeah, they try to
their hockey sticks and run them off.
oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, they got their revenge on him.
And this is also when the lights go out. And
oh
Andrade, yeah, Andrade comes out and he re-premieres with and is realign with the Don Callis family, and then also we get FTR and Stokely in the fucking wheelchair.
It was so weird because like, who are they feuding with that's in the ring right now? God, my controller. They're like, who are they feuding with in the ring right now that FTR and Stokely have to be out here? Is it the Bucks? Oh, I guess it's the Bucks.
Andrade. No, I believe it was Andrade because they had like a stare down, like, oh, you're my next victim. But who would Andrade be teaming with? Like
somebody from the Callis family, I'd assume. Oh, Cologne, because they're both Hispanic.
Oh.
I don't know.
yeah. Or Josh, but Josh is kind of with Hechicero.
Or Hechicero, yeah.
I don't know. So that should be interesting. We'll see what that is about. I'm sure we'll have a video package on Collision.
Because this is like his third debut for AEW, which is kind of funny.
Very funny. So that was pretty much it for that match. I think the biggest angles were just... Sorry.
You're good.
Distracting. I'm looking at my notes.
Sorry.
That was kind of pretty much the biggest thing is Andrade coming back, Young Bucks teaming back up with Jack Perry. What else? After that, is that all you wanted to say about that?
Yeah, it's getting a little ridiculous with the Don Callis family because it's just like 15 guys not really doing anything, and then Okada and Kyle and all the people who actually matter are gone. So the Don Callis parts of this show in particular dragged a bit, and I get what they're doing. They're like trying to make it so you don't forget about, like, they're trying to keep the plate spinning, I guess, but it's hard to keep the plate spinning without the original plates. Plates being Okada and Takeshita and everybody. Oh god. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, it was definitely a little awkward with everything that was going on, but I'm glad to see Andrade back. Hopefully he can get to work. I hate that he's aligned with the Don Callis family. I don't think he needs that, but it seems to be the place that people that want to be heels go. Start, at least. I'm ready to see the downfall of the Don Callis family, especially with everything that happened with Okada and Kyle and Takeshita, which are arguably the biggest three.
Yeah, we're definitely getting the ball rolling with that for sure, but they're getting the ball rolling with the downfall, I guess. But I guess the Tanahashi stuff going on kind of threw a wrench into their plans for the next couple of weeks because they all wanted to be in Japan, and you don't want to look like the asshole who didn't let your performers go to Japan even though they really wanted to. Cough cough. So yeah, it's good to see. Surprised that they didn't put Andrade and El Faccion and Gobernable, but I'm pretty sure Bruce is injured, so they can't do much about that right now. This next, it wasn't a match, it was a segment. They advertised Willow's championship celebration, which they normally do after there's like a big title change, and this was certainly one of those. Mercedes is still having her mental breakdown over losing. She's lost, I think, like 3 belts now.
3 belts, yeah.
Yeah, and two of them were, well, she didn't win the AEW tag titles, which a lot of people expected her to. And she lost the TBS title. And she also lost
The Ring of Honor.
The Ring of Honor. And there was a match that they had on a Collision that we missed where she defended like a title from one of the Mexican promotions that she wrestled for. And she lost that too, so she's down to what, like 7 belts?
Yeah.
So yeah, slowly but surely, but I feel like eventually she's gonna win the world title from Chris.
Oh yeah.
At some point.
Yeah. That's what my theory is too. Is they're dropping all of these belts because she's got to at some point. Just for it's like time for her next step.
Yeah.
So.
And I hope a couple more of those promotions that have those belts Mercedes is holding get to have that little spotlight in AEW where they'll wrestle Mercedes and she'll lose, or because like everyone's biggest fear was like she'll get hurt and she'll have to vacate the belt, you know, which is not what you want to do because you don't have the storyline payoff of oh my god, we're in the corner. Oh my god, just run. I'll heal you.
Run.
Stay. Stay. Stay still. Get out of the room.
Sorry.
Oh god, I'm lightheaded. Oh god, I'm dying.
Okay, I'm full. Okay. So yeah, I'm really happy for Willow. She got a cute little celebration with Chris and Harley, and
literally all the belts for the women in AEW are just shooting my pill popper. I'm not even. I'm so sorry.
Maybe we can't do this. Maybe we're bad.
It got stressful. I did it on hard. I should have put it on casual.
But yeah, all the belts.
All the belts for AEW's women division were in the ring right now, and they were all on baby faces. And the only thing I could think of was like, man, I wonder when all these guys are gonna lose all their belts. Because the drama, the story, it's in the chase, I guess, for the baby faces. Because you root for the baby faces, you want them to beat the heels, and then shenanigans happen, and then they don't. I imagine there's gonna be a title change at some point on one of the special episodes of AEW, because there's Grand Slam Australia, which I hope there isn't. In my head, I'm thinking like maybe the Timeless Love Bombs, because Tony's Australian, maybe they wrestle Willow and Harley, and there's some drama there. Since they're in Australia, it might soften the blow, I guess, because nobody wants to see Harley lose with her being so popular. But if it's Tony, you know, they're both Australian, so it's okay, you know.
Definitely.
So maybe like Revolution, Sasha Mercedes can win her title back, or win the world title off of Chris. They do like an interview segment with Renee where Willow's in the ring. There was like a whole bunch of like lighting issues. They were like trying to put a spotlight on her and like make a speech. It wasn't working out, and it's live television, so you gotta work with what you got. But they tried doing something similar in the main event, and the lights weren't working the way they wanted them to, so they brought up the house lights essentially, but they didn't do the same for the women. And I'm not claiming sexism. But sexism. They eventually invite Mercedes down, and I wrote down here, Willow invites Mercedes down, but an Elden Ring character comes out instead because she's wearing like pants jacket combo with like a cowboy hat, but the cowboy hat's got like a wedding veil sewn into it
to hide her tears.
Yeah, it was covering like the top of her head and her eyes. She just kind of stood there while the girls were celebrating, and they're just like, Mercedes, we're happy for you, you know, like we care about you. And of course Mercedes hates that.
Yeah, like you had an unstoppable 2025, like you did incredible things, you should be proud of yourself.
But
like being as respectful and positive like Willow is, like her character.
yeah, it was very cute what they did, but Mercedes wasn't having any of it. But it's not like it's played for laughs, I guess. She's not like
Yeah.
she's not doing anything for heat, you know. It's still very much silly wrestling, inherently silly, just kind of being weird for the sake of being weird and just being over the top. And there's like decorations, and there's a table, a cake. Crowd chanted, "We want cake," which was hilarious. And Mercedes starts crashing out, and essentially she picks up the cake while everyone's looking at Mercedes, and she attacks Harley because she's had history with Harley with like the whole puppet thing, and she hated that. Sorry, I needed to buy shotgun ammo, but I was talking. And then eventually she goes after Willow, and she dodges Mercedes, like lunging at her, and Chris has positioned herself right behind Willow with the cake, and she just falls into it. Sasha is 0-2 against cakes in AEW. Because there was another celebration that they did with Mercedes. I even wrote Sasha in my notes. That's crazy. I need to stop being WWE brain.
It happens.
She's been Sasha for so long. It's pretty much what people know her as. There's a lot of criticism towards Mercedes, be it because she's a former WWE wrestler who is not in the company anymore, be it her gender, which I know a lot of wrestling fans like women, or maybe it's the fact that she's a minority and I don't. Like, it sucks to like speculate that these things happen for any particular reason, but at some point you got to have the conversation, right? Because male performers do the exact same thing that Mercedes is doing. White male performers do the same thing that Mercedes is doing, but for some reason it's only an issue when she does it. But if you look close enough at Mercedes' run in AEW, you can tell that like she hasn't been booked to be like this dominant heel champion like everybody. Yes, she's been consistent in her wins, but she's never like, I don't know, it's never at the expense of anyone else. You know, she makes everybody she wrestles look like $1 million. She cuts like silly little promos with Lexi and like Athena when she's back there. Like, she was game for the puppet stuff. Like, there wasn't anything that she really said no to throughout her time in AEW, but for some reason she is the worst fucking human on God's green earth when it comes to fucking being a wrestler and being in AEW and just being, you know. You can't let the girl be. So I really, like, over the course of this last year, started appreciating for everything how good she is. Yeah, how good she really is. Sorry, rant over. But that was a good segment overall. I wish they could fix the fucking house lights, and Tony needs to fire whoever the tech was who was in charge of that. Oh my god, we did it.
We did it. Yeah, so next up we get El Clone and Commander.
Oh yeah.
Summary of their match, and then that leads into Mark Briscoe having a little segment. He shouts out Willow, you know, and basically offers, he says, "It's been too long since I beat an ass," or something like that. So he's looking for another opponent, which should be exciting. And then we cut to Tekla.
Yeah, we did.
And basically she spun the whole Willow and Chris reuniting. She's like, "Why did you reunite with someone that you hate?" In reference to Chris.
Yeah, the Chris and Willow drama. And I mentioned it last week where Yuta was talking to her, and there was like questions about whether or not she would join the Death Riders. And, it's good to see that somebody's actually paying attention.
Why are you reuniting with somebody that you hate?
Yeah, that was my biggest gripe with it, I guess, was understanding where everybody was, I guess, as far as do they hate each other? Do they like each other? Where's
What's
Willow going to
going
be
on?
going? You know, because they were going in a good direction, I feel. Yeah, Yuta is an asshole and is trying to like convert Chris to the dark side. Sorry, I was double checking, make sure I was full on ammo. She's finding success. Can you hit circle real quick, Irby? But she's finding success with all of the things that Wheeler's suggesting to her. So maybe she does join the group. But I guess Tekla is doing what she needs to do as a heel and bring up the stuff that makes people uncomfortable. And it's a lot. It really adds a lot to the Sisters of Sin Triangle of Madness, because they're not just people that can beat your ass physically. They're also like in your head psychologically, you know.
Yeah.
They bring up your insecurities, they bring up from your past, and they'll use
Your
that against
weaknesses.
you. Yeah, your weaknesses. But Tekla is awesome. Julia and Sky Blue, they kind of look like they remind me of the twins from The Shining or whatever, where they're just kind of
Yeah.
standing there and they're like, oh, where can they play make Jack a dull boy? I've never seen The Shining, but
Yep. Very much so. Just
very
very
much
like
so.
creepy.
Yeah, like I've seen horror movies before. Next segment.
Yep. Well, we get our next match.
I wrote segment, but it's a match, sorry.
You're good. Sammy Guevara versus Bandito. And this stems off of what we saw at Collision, where Sammy's like, nah, I get your next shot. I deserve it more.
Oh shit.
Sorry. I
Okay.
keep looking at my notes.
You're fine.
So I didn't really write a whole lot about this match. There were a couple of spots where I was worried about Bandito's neck, like fucking Sammy coming off the side and landing on his like side. Yeah, Bandito caught him, but I was just like, Jesus Christ. I definitely have missed Sammy and seeing him wrestle. He's been at Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to see him because he's just such a good, like, flashy wrestler.
He's good at the flippy dippy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks because like you could definitely tell that he was young, maybe early 20s coming into AEW, and he was always like getting into arguments and like pissing people off, but like he's just a young like douchey kid, you know. He's got an ego. He's wrestling nationally at like 20 years old, so he's gonna act the way he acts, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like him going to Ring of Honor and teaming with Dustin was kind of like all right, brother, like this is your last chance, you know. If this doesn't pan out, then we're gonna have to like give you the boot. But I feel like because he's back on Dynamite now, he's crawled his way, he's worked his way back up to the main roster.
He's great, like mid-card. He's like a very solid mid-card wrestler.
Yeah, and he was very prominent during the majority of like Max's title reign too, because he was one of the quote unquote four pillars of AEW, which Sammy, Darby, Jack, and MJF. They were the four pillars of AEW. So it's good to see, like you said, Sammy back. I wrote quite a few notes about this match, and I could talk about it if you'd like to.
Yeah, let me just see. There was lots of cursing, Sammy saying "fuck you." I wrote lots of cutters.
Yeah.
I think like a lot of spots. But that's pretty much all I had. So go right ahead.
Yeah, so this is for the Dynamite Diamond Ring because he won the Battle Royal, and Bandito, the winner of the Battle Royal, challenges the world champion traditionally. But Sammy, he wanted the spot, so he challenged Bandito, which is good. It's another way to hype him up against an already established name. Bandito gets the best of him early on, and Sammy powders, like he just kind of like takes a break outside the ring. He's just like, fuck, you know, like this guy's getting the better of me and I'm pissed. Let's see. Sammy takes advantage and he does heel stuff.
Heel stuff.
Yeah, he gets heat, and he yells at the ref.
We get
Excalibur
Bandito.
says, "Thanks, JR, for letting Mercedes borrow your hat randomly in the middle of this match," and I thought it was hilarious. JR it was nice to have him on the call. I don't want to make any comments about like anything that he said or did, but he did make me chuckle because like obviously I don't know if he keeps up with the product, but like there was two Sammy tried to hit his finisher twice, and I didn't see you die. I'm so sorry. I was looking at my notes. Sammy does his move where he like flips him off his back, but Bandito was able to like roll through and kind of catch him in a pin. I thought that was pretty cool. There's a 21 plex and Sammy lands on his feet. That was really cool, but eventually Bandito got the win, and the match was really good, really athletic. Go out of your way to watch it. Bandito is awesome. Sammy Guevara, it's good to see him again, but the real story I guess came after when MJF made his appearance. Very expensive appearance. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
The holy pyro, I will say. That man is he is milking AEW for everything that they're worth. Either like he's threatening to leave or or he's just like, I'll cover it, just take it out of my paycheck. There was a shit ton of pyro. He has like a wall. For those of you who watched WWF post like Edge and Christian splitting up as a tag team, Christian had the wall of pyro when he was first like doing single stuff. I'll show you a video. It looks really cool. So MJF. So the guy that he brought out, it was Jonathan Cruz, aka Serpentico. Serpentico, he's the guy under the Serpentico mask, and he wrestles under John Cruz and Serpentico, which is really funny.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah. He was out there to translate for Bandito because Max is a racist. I'm just kidding. He's not racist.
Yeah, no, for real.
But his character is definitely like ignorant. It's just edging on the side of tasteless, considering like everything that we're going through in the country at the moment. It kind of sucks because like, where does the story end? Does it end with Bandito conquering the bigoted white man, which is he's not white, he's Jewish, but like I don't know, it's just a weird direction to take the story, especially with the political climate.
Well, they even reference like, he referenced like, oh, I know Lucha Libre. I was a CMLL world champion, sold out Arena Mexico. He's a legend, he referenced Mystico, like, so it's like, what are we doing here? Like, because even that whole thing, I felt at the time with everything going on, I was like, well, this is a little out of taste. So it's interesting that they're bringing it back around, because I didn't think it did well the first time.
Yeah, and ultimately MJF was like, he was the butt of the joke, right? He's like, Serpentico is out there to translate for him, which there was a funny bit. He also translated the part where Max mentioned that he was out there to help translate.
Yeah.
So he was just like, Max is gonna whoop your ass, but he wanted to bring me out and tell you that he's gonna whoop your ass. It wasn't like a verbatim translation, because you would say things not necessarily grammatically different, but different like turns of phrases, idioms that you would use exactly, but this is what I mean when I say these things. Mystico is apparently Bandito's idol. I assume it's like his favorite wrestler, which is really cute.
Oh, that is cute.
It's like Shelton with Sting being his favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
Max says, I got 6 rings, asshole. And he wants the ring back. They go about it in a funny way, because eventually Bandito takes the mic from Max and is like, I speak English, right?
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Stupid son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. Yeah.
And then JR went, oh. That was so funny.
Yeah, he said
He's
a
like,
bad
"Oh."
word. He's like, oh, it's time for my medication. I'm just kidding. So eventually, Max, like, he kicks him in the dick, you know, and Bandito's wearing the ring, so he like slips it off of his finger, and he gets Serpentico to hold him in place while he runs at him with the ring, and of course the babyface is gonna Serpentico gets hit with the ring instead. What's it called? Bandito, he kicks Max in the dick. So after Max gets kicked in the dick, Bandito takes the ring back and he hits his finisher on both Max and Jonathan Serpentico, which is another little hype segment to build up Bandito for next week's Maximum Carnage, which should be a lot of fun with the Kenny appearance and Mark Briscoe having a match for the TNT title. It's gonna be,
and that leads us into back to what we were talking about, how tag teams have their own thing. That leads into Brody King having his violence video package.
oh yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, and he apparently does his own music. Like the music that he comes out to is his band, and he's the vocalist for it.
Yeah, we got to see clips. Like, I thought that made him really personable.
Yeah, they were at a show and everything.
Yeah, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little package about him. Nothing really coming out of it other than being tied to Bandito, in the sense that if Bandito beats MJF, he gets the next shot. But it was a really cool little video package, hype package for him. And then the next match we get is Timeless Toni Storm versus her problem child, Marina Shafir. During this match, we've got Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta ringside. And isn't this the one? Is this the one that John comes out?
Yeah, John.
Was he out on this one?
No, he was on Collision. I don't think he was out on commentary for this one. So Marina on Collision was out during Yuta's match, and Mox was on commentary, and then Tony came to attack Marina while she was standing at ringside. And it was funny because I heard John say, as Tony was attacked, he put a badger in a wig or in a blonde wig or something, because she was just like rapping and going crazy.
Yeah.
So it's just funny to see. You assume that the Death Riders, at least when they first started out, would be like this super serious group, no nonsense. But
yeah,
you know, it's interesting because like John actually has a personality, and it's funny. Like, he's funny. It's just interesting because he's always had those comedy chops, but he just doesn't like being told what to do. You know,
yeah,
he just likes doing his own thing. Yeah,
he's his own person.
Yeah, and he can be silly, he can be funny, and it's good to see that the feud with the conglomeration is bringing that out of him. Everything with Kyle, and taking all of that super seriously, and then eventually they're just like, you know what? Let's just fucking have John interact with Tony for a bit and see like what happens.
Yeah, and it's been great.
It's
so
working.
Far. Yeah. And speaking of speaking of Orange Cassidy, we got the spot again with Marina making fun of the dancing. I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, because Tony was getting her ass handed to her this entire. They're really making Marina look really good.
Finally,
yeah.
I feel like she hasn't really done anything, but like finally they're starting to like invest in her as more than like a manager style for John.
Yeah,
it's almost like that they you know saw something in her, they took her on with the team and like taught her what it's like to be a good wrestler. So now she's getting the match opportunities, and it's just really good. I like it. I'm happy for her that she's finally getting some good matches, solid matches, and like they're against good opponents.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because back when Ronda Rousey had her whole run in WWE, and Marina was a part of, they called them the four MMA horsewomen. So you got the four horsemen and then the four horsewomen in WWE and NXT were Becky, Charlotte, Sasha, who's Mercedes, and Bayley. So eventually when Ronda Rousey came in, she went straight to the main roster, but her she had Marina Shafir, Jessamine Duke, and Shayna Baszler, who were all like 3 legitimate like UFC fighters that they were all gonna try to bring in to WWE to have like a 4 horsewomen versus the 4 MMA horsewomen match. And I don't know what happened, but eventually they just kind of dropped the ball on it, or like they I don't know what happened essentially. So it's good to see Marina actually get some TV time, some matches, because she was like having matches on Dark and stuff, but her promo ability wasn't there. There's an infamous promo about Marina where she's just like standing in the middle of the ring wearing a hat and just yelling like, "You don't know me," over and over again. And it just wasn't conducive to her character, you know, to have her talk. So it's just like, let's just make her a killer. She doesn't talk, and we'll just have her kill everybody. And she looked really good fighting Tony, and like Tony was really like, she makes it a point to sell for characters like Megan Bane, who's twice her size and like super muscular and just powerful. So like when she wrestled Tony basically, she barely escaped with her life, you know, and she's really good about putting over people who are stronger than her, bigger than her, whatever, for the sake of the story. And it was really nice to see that Marina was taking a majority of the match, because she is a legitimate fighter. Like, she's a UFC fighter. If at any point in time these women wanted to kill you, they could, and they would, you know, which is why I thought it was really funny when Marina locked into her submission onto Tony like towards the end of the match, and JR just goes, "Mother's milk."
Oh yeah. He's like, what a move! What a
name for a move, you know.
He's like, imagine tapping out to Mother's milk.
Imagine tapping out to Mother's milk. That was so funny. That's one of my JR-isms that cracked me up. Because he's mostly silent throughout the episode until like Excalibur or somebody asks him a question, and then randomly he'll just be like, "Mother's milk." It's just funny. He's an old man.
He's just an old man.
All right, Grandpa, you gotta go back to the house.
That's so funny.
You gotta go put QVC on. So yeah, I think Tony ends up winning it, but like by the skin of her teeth.
No.
Oh shit, the DQ. I forgot about this shit.
Yeah. So Wheeler, he pulls out the ref when Tony is about to pin Marina, and because of that, Tony wins. The ref calls a DQ. Then we get Marina knocking out Tony. Mina comes out, and Luther comes out to try and help Tony. And then Orange Cassidy and Roderick come out, which was like so awesome. I love how they're continuing this story with them, the conglomeration and Tony. And then Claudio comes out. And brother, he took his shirt off and he looked at Roddy like, "I'm gonna beat your ass," which remind you, I spoke last week how we had Roderick staring down Claudio, so I think there's definitely something stewing there.
A friendly rivalry.
That should be fun.
Yeah, because I didn't catch that, and then like it was so I don't want to say funny, but it was just one of those moments where you're just like, oh my god, in anticipation as to what's gonna happen, you know, because Roderick's only win in the Continental Classic was Claudio, and so it's cool that they're like, even like the tiny little things that happen during the tournament, you know, it's just kind of, it's paying off, and it's really rewarding to me as a viewer who tries to pay attention as much as he can, notice those things, and just like, even just the exchanging of a glance,
it's like, ooh, what's gonna
can just
happen?
like lead to so much. And oh my god, it's incredible. It's so much fun.
I'm glad I noticed it. Definitely, I'm really excited.
Yeah, there was a moment in the ring where it's awesome.
But that was really, I enjoyed this match. And
it's a good little.
Yeah, what do you think about Marina losing to like Wheeler causing the, like, you think obviously she's gonna be pissed?
Yeah, I was pissed because I spent 10 years watching WWE do bullshit DQ finishes, years at this point, and that's it. It doesn't make anybody look good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
because you want the match to end decisively. Reminded me in that moment of like the worst of WWE, and not even necessarily in like the modern era, but like the Vince era, where a 70-year-old man was in charge of putting on a television show, but he can't remember what happened the week before, so they just do it again. They do it again ad nauseum until people like stop watching, and then they're like, why don't people like our show?
Right.
And then just finding like these crazy ways. Oh my god, oh shit. They're just finding crazy ways to like justify the ratings going down. The copium of like, oh, well, like ratings don't really mean as much as they used to because like everyone's watching TV on their computers now, so like the Nielsen ratings aren't all that accurate. But when it comes to like AEW getting like under 500,000 viewers for a show, they're like, oh, you gotta look at the ratings, you gotta see there's no other like true indicator as to how well a television show is doing than the Nielsen ratings. It's very like selective. It's a very archaic finish, I guess, to make a long story short. And it harkens back to what I call the dark ages in wrestling, where it was just like it was more bad than good. When you did get something, we all just kind of like celebrated because like, oh my god, it's not fucking terrible this week. High five, everyone. All that to say,
you didn't like it.
Yeah, and I get that like Tony's a big name and Marina is meant to look strong as well, but there are better ways to go about it.
Interesting.
Sorry, rant over.
Yeah, and then finally Pac is here. Oh my god, we got an interview for him.
Oh yeah, this was kind of awkward too.
Yeah, and since Darby had been looking for him, he's basically like, why are you looking for me, Pac? Darby, you're not getting a match. I've beaten you twice. You're no longer relevant. And then here comes fucking Darby, and he's like, give me the match. And Pac is like, no, like, you're not getting a match. And so fucking Darby gets a fire extinguisher.
Oh yeah, he leaves.
And fucking sprays him, and then next thing you know, he's on the door threatening to break Pac's ankle, and we get the match. We're gonna get the match on Carnage next week.
Oh yeah, Capital Carnage.
Yeah, so that should be fun. I'm excited about it. I don't know how I feel about this whole... Like, I think it'll be a good match, but to Pac's point, why are we doing this again? So
yeah, it was a bit of an awkward segment because Darby, he shows up backstage in the segment that we mentioned earlier, but he looks like he's ready for a fight. So when Pac is just casually giving an interview, and Darby just walks up, and is like, "Hey, I've been looking for you."
Yeah,
it's just like, why wouldn't Darby just like jump at him the second he got because you see he's alone, like all of his friends are like in the ring or like getting ready to come back, so you have like a good and we saw in this segment he has like a minute or two to talk to Pac before the rest of the Death Riders show up and like chase him off. It was just kind of it was a bit of an awkward segment because you expected to be more like heat there between the two of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a decent segment. It's good, nice little plug for next week's show. Could keep the plate spinning, like I said. Hopefully this feud ends soon. So after that, we had the lights out match.
Yeah.
Holy moly! Yeah.
Finally, it was time. We got Hook and Powerhouse Hobbs versus Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page for the tag team lights out unsanctioned main event.
Tag team lights out unsanctioned, no disqualification, no rules barred, dog collar, steel chair, street fight, no rules, false count anywhere.
Basically, when the lights come back on, AEW is not responsible.
Oh yeah, that whole deal. And then this was the other match that I mentioned briefly, that they were having lighting issues because any other lights out match in the history of AEW, they just like bring the lights down and they bring them back up. It's meant to be more symbolic than anything. This is technically the quote unquote end of the show, and anything after this we're not responsible for. Oh my god, run away. So when it came to something like when this match started and they brought the lights down low, I tried to have like the spotlights follow the guys around. It was very awkward because Obviously, they're not going to stay in one spot for too long like a performer would. If you were just doing like a play or anything like that, you would just stand in one spot, move like very slightly left or right so the spotlight will follow you. But these guys are like whipping each other and like jumping onto each other and doing all these crazy things, and nobody can see. So quarter or halfway into the match, they brought the lights up, and they didn't for the women, which kind of sucks. Because I feel like if I was there live and they just kept bringing the lights down for everything, because it was the Andrade stuff, the stuff with the women, and now here, I'd be pissed because I'm just like, I can't even see. I only saw half the show. Can I get half of my money back?
Like, really, everybody on the floor could see, and that was about it. But even the floor seats, like, we know, like, you can't see everything. So Hangman and Swerve come out from the stands, and they have their chains. And you remember the comment I made? I was like, ooh, I wonder if this is teasing for a dog collar match.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you mentioned that, and like, sorry, I didn't like entertain your idea, but I was just thinking like, no, like automatically people's brains are gonna go, they're just like, oh, when was the last dog collar match? And they're gonna Google dog collar match AEW, and they're gonna see CM Punk, and they're gonna be like, raw. It'll be cool to see. Like, we watched, this was years ago now, but we watched the Briscoes and FTR do their little double dog collar match. I'm leaving. Gotta go.
I'm trying to go. Oh god.
Oh god. I died. Be careful. Shit.
No.
I'm so sorry. To kind of bring a point out of nowhere, that beatdown angle with the Bucks and Jungle Boy, where was Hangman and where was Swerve?
Yeah.
I feel like they could have helped the Bucks. But I guess there's a lot of like resentment there from both of them, from everything that, damn, it was only like 4 months ago. Well, I guess five months ago now. Just thinking to myself like, man, how it's crazy to think about like how much of a different spot everyone is in compared to just July, I guess.
Yeah, a lot's happened.
A lot has happened for sure.
I mean, it was a solid match, a really good match. There were a lot of like table spots. Finally, they brought out the tables. Hangman had a really good moonsault onto Powerhouse Hobb. They brought out the staple guns, which were really cool. A nice callback to Swerve.
Yeah, everyone's got their own signature weapon.
Yeah.
Swerve's is the staple gun, and Hangman's is the chain.
Yeah, and fucking Staples, Hobbs in the dick.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
They love stapling each other in the dick, man. It's gotta be a kink or something.
And Swerve was stabbing Hobbs in the midsection.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't doing anything. I wrote down in my notes, Hobbs is unaffected by effect of staple gun unless it's his dick and balls.
That's so funny.
There was a little, I don't know if you noticed, but when the Scrubs came out to fight, I thought it was really cool because they had a little like action movie set, because they started with them getting tied up in the chains, and then eventually like they break out, and then they do like a sequence in the action movies where they're like tied together briefly in fighting, and then eventually they find their way out of it with like the backflip where like Swerve backflip or Hangman flipped over Swerve, and they were like out of the chain, and then they kept fighting, and I was just like, oh my god, is this Rush Hour?
A Rush Hour?
Yeah,
that's
like
so
just like any like buddy cop movie, I guess. Like
yeah,
they have that scene where they realize like, okay, maybe we do need each other. It's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And then the center blocks.
Oh yeah.
God.
So we haven't seen the center blocks since, at least for me, I haven't seen the center blocks since Swerve took out Keith Lee. You remember that? They
oh yeah.
when he started the Mogul Embassy, and he broke it off with Swerve, and he was a heel for a long time. He fought Darby as a heel with AR-Fox. Well, you specified with AR-Fox, but yeah, it's been a while since we've seen the center blocks. And usually I think there's ways to make like breakaway cinder blocks. It's still gonna suck, but like it's not legit concrete that can hurt you. But this was just like a bed of cinder blocks like all tied together. So it made me think that they were legit cinder blocks that they were just getting slammed onto, which I thought was pretty cool. Like I haven't seen that spot in a while, and at least it wasn't a bed of nails again.
Yeah, for sure.
They showed that bed of nail spot from All In in the most recent Botchamania. And it's just like, oh my god, I forgot that they did that. It was crazy.
Yeah, and fucking Swerve smashes Hobbs onto it. That was crazy. Knocked him out. The Dojo goons.
Swerve got slammed into the center blocks. You remember that?
On this match?
Yeah, there was a lot of like spots to see like, oh, who's gonna get put through the cinder blocks, but I think it ended up being Swerve.
Oh, you're right.
So
Smash
like,
Swerve.
oh
Okay,
God.
I thought because they kept teasing that Hobbs would be the one, but it was actually Swerve that went through them.
Yeah, and like none of them busted or like broke, but you could tell like they're legit because he just fucking splatted on him.
Did you write down the comment that JR said? He's like, it's getting nasty.
No, I didn't write that down. I wrote down Ops Dojo. Because they all ran out and started getting beaten up, and he's just like, Ops Dojo, give me a break, you know? It's really funny.
Yeah, and then once, it was so funny. Once all the goons came out, they all kind of got their spot with their signature move. Like, we got the Swerve Stomp, the House Call, Buckshot Lariat, whatever Powerhouse's move is.
Hook Slam to Nana.
Yeah, poor Nana. He got beat up this. We got Hook's Red Rum. And then Nana splashes coffee into Hobbs's eyes. That shit, I mean, obviously it wasn't hot. I mean, it still didn't look comfortable to get in your eye. And then
there's fine little granules of sugar that can cut your cornea.
Yeah. And then we get the finish. Do you remember the finish? I
remember they reversed the buckshot into a spine buster that wasn't into the bricks, but then they do a Deadeye Swerve Stomp combo where all I could think about was Hangman's knees, because like he got dropped on his Hobbs got dropped in his head, but you're purposefully like, even before seeing Tanahashi in the condition he was in, it was a little rough to see somebody just drop to their knees like that with another person's full body weight on top of them. It just hurt to see.
Definitely.
Was that the finish?
Nope. The finish was Hook getting hooked.
Oh yeah, Hook got hooked.
Hook got hooked. Oh no, he's hooked on something. So yeah, he gets hung off the side of the ropes with the chain. The chain they brought out. So
and might I just say, those chains that they come out with, they don't look very intimidating. I guess because like the links are so small. It looks like a little baby chain. Yeah. And like I guess they're like, it's easier to manage. It's easier to handle a small chain like that.
You don't want to be carrying around like a 200-pound chain because that shit gets heavy.
But it doesn't add like to the intimidation factor. I guess you don't look as cool as you do if the chains are like that.
Yeah.
Because like I've seen like movies and TV shows where like there are characters with like the chain links are like the size of a fucking potato, and I'm just like, there's just like a necklace that they're wearing of it. I'm just like, okay, that looks cool, but oh god.
I'm trying to heal you.
Oh, we both have the pop popper. Yeah.
Well, I think this is like a healing shot.
Run. Okay.
But yeah. Well, that's perfect. Because that's pretty much the end of the show.
Yeah. So
Hook getting hooked.
For sure, yeah. He tries to steal the win towards the end there, and JR, I think he's getting tired because he says, "Get on with it, will you?" Because they're like prolonging the finish, I guess, making Hook suffer, which it makes sense in the storyline. You know, he's put Hangman through all this trouble, and eventually he needs his comeuppance before he gets to Joe. And then Excalibur reminds JR of the story. It's fair that he didn't know because he's older. Paige does the chain thing for the win, and I've noticed like I could be saving myself so much time by writing Paige instead of Hangman.
Oh, I know, I do the same thing, but like it's a complete package, you know. Yeah. He is Hangman Adam Page.
He's Hangman Page.
Hangman Page. I even go as far as writing Hangman Adam Page. I don't do Hangman Page.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I know.
But Excalibur's just like, he's put him through all this stuff, so I mean, it's fair that he's gonna want to get his pound of flesh or whatever. And then yeah, eventually they hook, and they beat Hook, which is awesome. I'm excited to see where the story goes from here, because obviously after the ops are taken out, quote unquote, and Shibata's in Japan, that leaves Joe to maybe try and get Max after Bandito, because you'd assume that he'd be the first in line, or maybe they'll do another 4-way or like a series of matches, or I don't know. There's a lot of different things that they can do with the story, and I'm excited to see where they're at. Thanks for sticking around if you've been listening so far this long. Oh my god.
Yep, we'll be back with Collision.
All right. See you later. See you in a second. It'll be a second for you guys, but it'll be a day and a half for us.
Water.
Yeah.
Go get some water. Take a break. I know we talk a lot.
Take a piss. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Now recording.
All right, we're back with the Collision review.
Yeah.
The way we decided to split this up is we're going to try and mitigate a lot of 5-hour-long podcasts. We're going to try and split it up. So last recording session, we did the Dynamite review that took about 2.5 hours. So we're going to try and do our best to condense this Collision review, because it was a pretty like fast-paced show. It was like 10-minute match, promo segment, 10-minute match, promo segment, but it never really dragged. I like that a lot. Both of the episodes this week flew by.
Yeah, this was another 7-match card, whereas Dynamite was 5. So we're back to the 7 matches. But I do feel like it was paced fairly well. We'll talk about it, but there was a couple matches I'm just like, what? What was the point? But we'll get there.
For sure.
So we open the show, Collision, with the trios match, the Death Riders, Pac, Daniel Garcia, Wheeler Yuta, versus Skyflight, Scorpio Sky, and Top Flight. And then there's a premiering, I guess, 2 days ago on Thursday. I guess it was announced that Zeta Steel became All Elite due to Layla, and she teamed up with Skyflight because of Layla Gray having a knee injury. I don't know why that's necessary, but like, why premiere somebody to take place of somebody that has that? It just didn't make sense to me. But cool, a new women wrestler.
Yeah, they need somebody to for Marina to fight, I guess, because Marina was out there with the Death Riders. They're building the match to against Darby for Maximum Carnage, which we talked about. John was out there on commentary. He was really good. I liked him. I like that when he gets a chance to show his personality, and he's not just like, I'm a badass, I'm the Terminator, like, you can't put me down, bro, like, trying to be tough. And he's like, it's very clear that he watches a lot of like 80s and 90s like action movies, because he seems like a very like John McClane kind of Lethal Weapon sort of character when he's a babyface. But the Death Riders are still acting very heelish, like they worked heel during the match. They ultimately cheated to win, because I mean that's what they do. They're a heel faction in a North American promotion, so they cheat to win every match, which kind of makes them look a little less credible. But having Pac and John and Claudio all just kind of being big names in the faction, I don't know. It's a little weird, but I like the dynamic that they're doing now with the Death Riders, because we don't know what everyone's true allegiances are, and John is kind of just like, man, I really like professional wrestling. I hope nothing bad happens to me soon.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to hold off on maybe the Grand Slam show coming in February, or maybe even all the way out to Revolution before maybe splitting them up.
Yeah, I do think like with the intro, like they look so good, and they almost looked like, because it's been a while, I guess, since the pay-per-view that we've seen them all together in one shot, like, and so they looked kind of revitalized a little bit, like coming off like of everything that they've been through the last few weeks, and then coming into this match, it's like, okay, they're together, everything's good, like they look strong.
They're a cohesive unit. Yeah. They're very cohesive, as opposed to when it's one of John's matches, they're it's a bit more chaotic, I guess, because you have like the run in and the interference, and it gets crazy. But they were very much a good. They did play their roles well as far as like a heel cohesive unit. And then it's good to see Scorpio Sky back, because he was supposed to wrestle John last week. No, he was supposed to wrestle Shelton Benjamin last week, and then they replaced him with Dante. Sorry, I try to do this stuff mostly off of memory, but so I get a lot of stuff wrong, but that's why I have a co-host that is here to correct me, and not in a bad way. But he was supposedly not medically cleared to compete, and unfortunately there is towards the end of the match, there's a spot where they're Pac and Yuta are like crisscrossing across the ropes, and I guess the end goal is to jump on Scorpio and whomever else to have like this big flashy spot right before the end of the match. But it looked like Yuta tried to do the dive, but he didn't land on anybody, so he just landed on the floor, and you could see the cameras like try to catch what happened.
Yeah.
And it's like Scorpio like down in the corner, so I'm worried that he's hurt again, which would suck. I mean, poor guy, he's just been getting hurt and coming back for the better part of 2 years now. And then I guess go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say, it definitely was like a very interestingly paced match, because like Death Riders looked really, really strong in the beginning, and like it took a little bit for Skyflight to get in their rhythm, and they had like, towards the climax of everything, they were really looking good. And even John, like I noticed on the commentary, he always speaks specifically about Darius so highly, I guess, because like he had that match with him, and he like really respects him and like what his capabilities. So it was really good.
Darius or Dante?
Dante, excuse me, not Darius. Dante. I was thinking Darius took the pin from Pac in this match, but I do liked the way that Skyflight had their moment to shine for sure, and got to do their flips and everything like that. But yeah, ultimately Pac gets the pin on Darius. Marina is just another distraction. Her and Zeta go at it towards the end of the match, and Megan Bayne actually comes out with Penelope, the what is it, the problem,
the mega problem the problem gods.
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll see something going on with like now Zeta and Marina and Megan Bayne, and maybe we'll see Layla Gray come back. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully she comes back soon. I did have a chuckle when Marina and Zeta had that stare down, and John's just like, she's just a kid, like don't kill her, It's like, oh no, like. But it was kind of in the tone of just like, well, don't hurt her too bad, but she did it to herself.
Yeah, exactly.
Hit back or hit select, and it'll start the round. So that was a nice little. I don't know. I like that I've been able to like catch more and more of the segments as a whole. Earlier we just like halfway pay attention to the matches and then kind of catch something on commentary, but it really is like when you pay attention to the complete package, it's really gratifying, I guess, as a viewer, because you don't know if randomly they're gonna start a storyline between two wrestlers off of like a random line that somebody said on commentary 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's good that we were able to catch these things now and kind of call back to them when the time comes. The whole like segment, match, commentary, post match, everything was just really good, and it makes me really excited to see at the very least the pack match. But I'm also interested to see what the rest of the group is doing, you know, which is hard to do because mostly you pay attention to like the top guy and like the tag team in the group, that if they're the champs or if they're challenging for the titles, but like everyone else kind of seems to fall by the wayside. But the Death Riders have been doing a really good job of highlighting like every single person individually as well as the group, and I've really appreciated it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm, like I said, like they're revitalized. I'm excited to see where this goes and what the downfall is going to look like when it does happen. It's definitely highly anticipated, I feel like. So hopefully it pays off, and I think it's nice that we're still getting the respect for John. I think if he lost the Continental Classic, that would have escalated things, but I think he's got like a little bit of a redemption arc going on. But I do ultimately think we're gonna see them break up at some point, but what that's gonna look like, I'm not sure.
For sure. Yeah, I was a little confused and a little frustrated at first seeing the results of the Continental Classic, because I thought the big story would coming out of it with Takeshita and Okada and like everything that's been going on, and like we got a little later with Kyle. Pleasantly surprised, you know, because AEW's done a really good job as far as like the promo packages and everything, telling you, just kind of like catching you up, I guess, with what you missed. And then we're here now. John's having a match, or the Death Riders are having a match, and you can just pick up from there and follow the majority of the story.
Yeah. So it should be good. Like moving forward, we'll see what happens. So
sure. Next, we had a couple like short little segments back to back. The conglomeration and Roderick, who's still not a part of the conglomeration, mind you.
He made that clear. He's
made
like,
that
I am
very
not
clear.
a part of the
And I will yell your name before I tell you that. They're still not done writing the D's of the D Riders.
Yep.
I just want to highlight a little something that tickles me. One of my favorite things in improv is when one character in the scene is like, all right guys, let's repeat the clan motto. And then everyone else they're improvising, so like nobody knows what they're gonna say, so they did that in this segment where they're just like, every conglomerator in the conglomeration is a conglomerator, or whatever it was they said.
Yeah, it was so funny.
I liked it a lot. Yeah, I like their chemistry. I like that Rodri is still like not resentful, reluctant is the word I'm looking for. Sorry. Yeah, he's very reluctant, but he's still, you know, friends with these guys.
Yeah, like he's gonna be there for them, but it's like he's holding out for his best friends, you know.
Yeah,
like,
Kyle and Adam.
Yeah, and in my head, I'm like, I love that, because like when ultimately something does happen to the point where maybe Adam can come back and Kyle is, you know, back to being good, like maybe the conglomeration, they can all conglomerate, you know.
Yeah.
And Roderick can finally be like, okay, like I get the blessing.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of when Adam Cole first came into the company and the Dark Order were trying to recruit him. So, like, on Being Elite, they'd have, like, these backstage segments where they just spend 5 minutes trying to make Adam Cole break.
Yeah.
And he's a heel, so he's just like, no, you guys are fucking idiots. Get away from me. Oh my god, like when they're trying to get Adam to change his name, and it's like, yeah, your name's Adam Cole, but there's already an Adam in the company, and they're trying to give him, like, new names. Yeah. He's like, what about the Budge? You know, it's all about the Budge. You can see, like, Adam, he just had to, like, hang his head down and laugh and then just pretend to be mad. It's a lot of fun. And, like, as someone who's been watching AEW since the beginning, it's very rewarding, especially after seeing like the Eddie Ray and the Brody shirt, and seeing Angelico wrestle for the first time, and seeing Scorp wrestle. I'm just like, oh man, like I miss those days.
Glory days.
Look, not even that. It's just I missed when AEW is like the little promotion that could, even though it never really was, because they've always had Tony Khan money and he's like a multi-millionaire. So it was just good because they were still that little. You didn't have the more like mainstream wrestlers like coming in and ruining everything. I'm just kidding. So after the conglomeration segment, Brody King had like a 2-minute match, which kind of Brody King coming out and having like a random, not even 2-minute match made me believe even more in the theory that maybe Scorpio Sky got hurt and maybe they had to like cut the match short. So maybe that's
they made
kind of
a comment about it being a standby match.
Yeah, we were just like, whatever that means, you know?
Yeah, I was so confused. And they even made it at the end, they were like, we probably need another standby match because that one was short.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, okay. But now that you say that maybe Scorpio was hurt, that makes sense of why they would have to have something like that. Because I was like, this is pointless.
Yeah, and they'll definitely, they'll talk about it more, I guess, on Dynamite. But it's good that they're building up Brody as a little mini feud for Max. I feel like Max he'll have the match with Bandito, and nobody's really expecting Bandito to win. So maybe he'll go into the Kenny feud after that for Grand Slam, just to have a cool like international match on the books, I guess, because they're going to Australia. You want one of your biggest stars on the card, and then maybe they'll have like another special Dynamite where Brody can challenge in the main event, and it's cool. It's like, I don't want to say it's predictable, because it is, and I don't know if that's light on the company, but I'm excited for the ride.
For sure.
It's exciting to see Bandito. It's exciting to see Brody, like from his debut in like the House of Black, and then after Black left, how they kind of went on their own little journey together, and then still maintaining his popularity even though Buddy's hurt. It's just really cool to see.
Yeah.
And then finally, they had a backstage segment where Josh Alexander explained why Don wasn't there again. They did the same thing last week, but I think they were. Do they still want to feud with Moxley? I guess. Yeah, because during the opening match, they were mentioning the Don Callis family, and John was just like, "Yeah, there's about 216 of them in there now, right?"
Yeah. He's like, it's a $49.99 membership fee or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, we're a little bit more serious. You gotta actually work to get into this.
That's actually really funny because I don't know if you remember, like a year ago, Mercedes caught a lot of heat because she did like a service where like she charged people $100 a month to text them. I don't know, that it reminded me of that. Oh God, we gotta go. Come this way. This way.
I'm coming.
So yeah, it also reminded me of seeing Lance Archer sit in the back beating people up.
Just beating people up.
Yeah. He would always come out. So like when Archer first debuted in AEW, he would come out, make his entrance, but he would be like dragging one guy, like he would have one guy up on his shoulder, and he throws somebody else out of like the tunnel as he's walking out, and it's just kind of cool to see
Evolution,
the Lance Archer of old. Oh no, I died. Be careful.
I gotta get 100. What? I gotta get 200 of these fuckers.
Unfortunately, those big guys are annoying.
I got this. Keep talking.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, that was pretty much the end of it. Everyone's feuding with the Death Riders, and everyone's feuding with the Don Callis family. So I feel like since they're I'd assume the two biggest groups in the company, like most popular factions, most powerful wrestlers, I guess. So hopefully they start weeding out a couple members of the Don Callis family soon-ish.
Yeah.
And then they can just kind of get a real focus on like, all right, these are our next guys that we're building. Okada's got to leave pretty soon. Takeshita's definitely leaving after what happened in the Continental Classic. And then Kyle looks like he's on his way out as well. They're doing a really good job of building maybe Okada's next feud after he's done with Takeshita, but even Takeshita's feud, I'm sure they're gonna take their time with it,
as they should.
Yeah,
I mean it's pretty significant in terms of the Don Callis family.
It's kind of cool. I like how everyone's just kind of feuding with everybody else. They're like little mini feuds within the factions, but of course they're a team, they're friends, so you'd expect people to have your back, and then that's how it turns into these giant like 10-man, 20-man brawls at the end of the show.
For sure.
But I think it's really cool.
But this allows for like a more cohesive company, and I feel like it's more realistic.
Yeah, because they're essentially like your coworkers, right?
Yeah, so you're gonna interact with them.
Yeah, and if you don't like somebody, you're gonna put them through a table like you would at like McDonald's if you worked at McDonald's, or
yeah, just
or
like
in an
that.
office. Yeah.
Yeah.
Working food service makes me want to slam through people, people through tables. Trust me. That's why wrestling is my escape. I pretend it's that one bitch that yelled at me in the drive-thru.
Yeah, and then speaking of Don
Baby,
Callis
come this
family,
way. Baby.
I'm trying. Look, I'm in the corner. I'm safe. I'm coming.
I'm not safe.
Oh god.
I'm not safe.
I'm not safe. I'm not safe. I'm not safe. Oh god. Okay, shoot. I'm out. I think I'm
dead.
on a bullet.
Go down. Go down. Go down.
I'm going to my totem. We got our next match, the Don Callis family. Oh my god, match of the night.
Match of the night, yeah. This match was so good, it made me want to like reconsider watching Ring of Honor and putting watching Ring of Honor each week on top of Dynamite Collision. I was just like, oh my god, what if we had a segment where it's like Ring of Honor match of the week? I'm just like, man, these guys are incredible. Like, what are we missing watching Ring of Honor?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. El Clone versus Commander.
Yeah, I really
both looked incredible, dude.
Yeah, I liked the Clone's presentation a lot because like when he makes his entrance, there's like glitchy stuff because he's like corrupting the program or whatever, which is really cool. And I also like when his entrance is over, it does like one last little glitch and then like the lights come up. I like it a lot. I like his presentation, and then when I was first writing stuff down, the first thing I said in my notes was I like his presentation. And then as the match went on, I was just like, no wait, I like El Clone. Just like the whole package. Whoever's under the mask is just incredible.
Super talented. I mean, I was taken back because I was just like, typically I don't really like a lot of heels. I mean, obviously you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
So I was very resistant to him at first, but after actually seeing him wrestle, I'm like, holy shit, who is this guy? He came out of nowhere. I mean, Tony just gives them the opportunity to do what they do best, like good lucha stuff or whatever you say.
Good lucha things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Tony's he's a fan, you know. He's just like, you know, it'd be cool if these guys fought each other, and you don't really need a story. You just need the urge to see some really good wrestling, and then it happens, and then we all rejoice.
Yeah, and one thing I really liked about this match, and even a comment that I made watching El Clone the first time, is that I just felt like I saw things I don't normally see, that I've never seen from other lucha wrestlers. Like, there were so many like different holds and like such smooth mat work, like and of course you get your classic like Commander's really good on the ropes.
Yeah, but they did a good job of building to that as well. Throughout the course of the match, he didn't really get it until like the last 10 minutes, and even then it felt earned. Like the reactions they were getting felt earned. They had him, you know.
Yeah, he did so good. I mean, there were just so many moves. I was like that one that they highlighted, the like bend back and like kick that El Clone did on Commander, and then can't look away at my notes, but there were just like so many moves that I was like, oh my god, I've never seen this before. So many different holds and like submission attempts. It was really good.
I highlighted a couple of moves. I can read them out to you. But first I wanted to mention, the countdown clock to a match that they had in the top right corner. They're just like, in 30 minutes, these two guys are gonna wrestle.
Yeah.
It wasn't really much of anything.
And like in the middle of this match of all matches, it was just like, what the fuck?
It was it was very jarring to say the least.
It was like very unnecessary. It's like, don't pay attention to this, stay with us. Like, this isn't entertaining enough we need you to stay with us so that way you can see this match that will be interesting. It just felt weird.
Yeah, this whole little segment, as weird as it reminded me a lot of when we were watching the old Nitros from the 90s, because they'd have like the random Lucha Libre match, but then they would count down to the top of the hour. Because for those of you who don't know, Nitro, when it first started in 95, was a 1 hour show, but then as it grew more and more popular, the network gave them 2 hours, but they were I assume they were a little hesitant because they're just like, how are we going to keep these guys watching for 2 hours? And they're like, people like fireworks, maybe we set off like $50,000 worth of pyro after an hour of the show to signify that it was in its second hour. All that to say, they would have a little countdown timer that counted down to the pyro, and it was like it kind of flashed me back to those days, because it's very reminiscent of WCW in the 90s, because you weren't getting a lot of Lucha Libre on the WWE side, because 95, 96 was Shawn Michaels and Diesel, and like it was right after the steroid trials, so a lot of the more muscular wrestlers on the roster, they slimmed down a lot because they weren't doing steroids anymore. So the company shifted more towards bigger guys, but in the sense of like Kevin Nash debuted in 95 and he was tall, and there was Mabel who was big but I hate to use the word fat because I'm fat, but he's like 2 or 3 of me. So they were kind of trying to fudge the size game a little bit, so you weren't getting a lot of the lucha stuff, and that's kind of what gave Nitro the edge over Raw towards the beginning of the Monday Night Wars. All that to say, good lucha things from Commander El Clone. There was a reverse tilt-a-whirl backbreaker in which Commander lands on his fucking feet. He like runs over the corner and he does like a springboard, like a BME, where he like jumps on the rope and then he jumps on the top rope and then does a moonsault, which was fucking cool. He did his like tightrope walk where he usually does a little dive onto the person. But El Clone, he like moved out of the way and did like the little finger wiggle, like no, he's not gonna get me. And then he like walked over to the other corner, but then Commander he jumped on the middle rope, jumped and turned around onto the top rope and did a springboard moonsault onto the floor. And I was like, holy
crazy
shit. Yeah.
Again, stuff like I feel like I've never really seen. Like, of course, I've seen bits and pieces of things, that are familiar, but like the combinations and like how Commander was so easily able to counter El Clone. And I mean, even the same thing for El Clone. Like, there were so many good, like, it just was smooth
for sure
and fast paced and just good. Good shit.
Good shit. Definitely go out of your way to watch this match, if anything. And if you're not watching Collision already, do yourself a favor. I hate that Collision is AW's worst performing show.
I feel like they put a lot of good stuff into it where
there's not a lot of like the drama. Well, they did a really good job of it this episode, and we'll get into it because it's the next segment. But a lot of episodes of Collision is they're pre-taped, so you just get a lot of really good wrestling matches with not a whole lot in between. So maybe you'll get a pre-tape, or you get like a recap of a pay-per-view or something that happened in Dynamite leading into a match. But this week's episode, they just did so much with World's End and Wrestle Kingdom and stuff coming up too. They had a lot of story beats that they needed to get out, and we can talk about it. For example, Collision, this is the first time that they're mentioning Takeshita losing the IWGP title.
I noticed that.
And then they also highlighted Okada, even though they did that on Dynamite too, because it was the Tanahashi retirement, and it was more so about Tanahashi than it was Okada. But there was no mention of Takeshita. Nobody, not even on commentary, they're just like, man, I wonder how Takeshita must feel, or like what do we think happened between Kyle and Okada, because of everything that we already know. And we'll get to it. a little later. I apologize. But right now we've got a women's match to get to. Mina Shirakawa facing Lady Frost, who hasn't been on AEW TV. I think the last person I saw her wrestle was maybe Megan Bayne on a random episode of something. But she's been doing like a lot of work on the indie scene. She's not, I don't know if she's signed to AEW or not, but it's always good to see her. I kind of miss her little like Ice Queen gimmick.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of like blue and white as like a color combination. So it was always nice to see her outfits, especially because she looked really cool. She has like an ice gimmick, obviously, hence the name Lady Frost. But the main thing coming out of this match was the flowers that Mina was given. She did a little dance, did her entrance, and then after she got into the ring, even though the guy had him outside the ring. So it was kind of awkward because she got in the ring, she did her pose, and she walks towards someone outside, like a PA or somebody on the ring crew, who hands her like a couple like bouquets of flowers, and she's just like, oh, who sent these? And she turns around into a kick from Lady Frost, and like the flowers go flying, and it's all dramatic and just kind of adds a little bit of flair to the match. This one was over relatively quickly. It was more so an angle than anything else because they were doing the whole like jealousy thing with Mina as far as like Orange was concerned, and then on this week's Dynamite Mina just kind of accepted the fact that, you know, Orange is gonna be here, and like maybe they're doing like a weird throuple thing, but the whole flowers, it might be, I don't know. In my head, I think it was someone trying to kind of sow the seeds of dissent, I guess. Like it wasn't Tony or Orange. Maybe it was like Marina or somebody else on the Death Riders that wants to get a rise out of Tony or Mina.
Yeah, I made a comment. I was like, ooh, what if it's somebody coming back?
Oh, shit. Careful. These guys explode. You don't want to get too close. Sorry, go ahead.
I thought, like, with the whole theme of the flower, I was like, what if it's Thunder Rosa? Now, I know that probably wouldn't make sense, but you never know, right? Like, maybe Thunder Rosa is going to come back and go after Tony for something, and, like, she's starting with Mina because she knows that they're close. I just made the correlation of flowers and...
Yeah, the roses, flowers, Rosa. Yeah. But yeah,
it's been
kind
a while
of...
since we saw her. And I know that she originally was on Collision. That was her main show.
Oh, yeah. The whole, like, during the height of the CM Punk brawl out drama and, like, the Collision, they're like, Thunder Rosa is one of those people that the company deems are difficult to work with. So we're going to put them on a whole other show so these people don't have to interact and cause problems with each other.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That was crazy. But yeah, my prediction is that it's going to be Marina just kind of fucking with Tony.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But it would be kind of cool to see, because we've seen Mina's jealousy kind of come out, but maybe if somebody's trying to flirt with Mina, maybe we can see Tony's jealous side. I feel like that would be interesting. And I'm excited to see where the story goes. I'm happy that this story hasn't run out of steam, because I feel like people predicted that Tony and Mina would win. They would win the tournament or whatever, and then just kind of do what Willow and Harley are doing now as far as sending them every week, just kind of nothing feuds until maybe a month or so down the line Megan and Marina win them, and then they can do like a chase storyline there. But it's good the women are doing more things than just they were friends and then they weren't friends, so now they're mad at each other.
There's actual depth.
Yeah, there's depth. Yeah, and there's like the history. They're like not really mentioning like Mariah, because Mariah was kind of supposed to be what Tony is now, but then she left. But they've done a good job of kind of not necessarily explaining away the situation, but
shifting.
But yeah, I was gonna use the word ignoring it, but it seemed a little harsh because that's not what they're doing. They didn't just take Marina off TV. They didn't take Mina off TV after Mariah left, as punishment for Mariah leaving. I'm going on a tangent. Let's move on.
Okay. So next we get a segment that I was really surprised, but really actually excited for. We got a recap kind of on Mercedes crash out.
Oh yeah,
aftermath.
This was really good. Yeah, it was framed as her like just kind of breaking down in her dressing room alone in front of her mirror, like still covered in the cake, and just. Do you wanna go into it a little bit before I give my thoughts? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So she basically basically is just like, I got nothing but disrespect, you know. Yes, I had a lot of accomplishments in 2025, as Willow mentioned, but she's like, I don't care what year it is, I'm still always going to be the greatest. And basically what is coming out of this is she's going to take a break from AEW, and when she comes back, she's coming for more than just titles, which I really am relieved to hear that she's taking a break, not only because she deserves it, but I think just to bring excitement back to what she's doing and like really prepare her for that next step of the world title. I am really happy that she's taking some time off, because I think it's gonna, when she's gonna get that pop when she comes back, and it's gonna be great, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's good to see that a lot of the... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that that's pretty much like coming out of that. I am over the moon. And excited to see what happens when she does come back. And I hope she enjoys the time that she gets to rest and recover, so that way she comes back strong and ready to hit the ground running with her next adventure.
Yeah, she's been at it for a year, like wrestling all over the world, just kind of putting herself out there. And I wonder if she's going to like go film something, because she was acted in The Mandalorian, one of the seasons of The Mandalorian, I believe. That was kind of one of the reasons why she left the company when she was with WWE, is because they were like, it took a lot to get the company, I guess in general, to even let her do that. Like Vince went through this weird phase. I think I remember mentioning to you like the Twitch and YouTube stuff. A lot of wrestlers had Twitch and YouTube channels that they were like making money off of in the case that they couldn't wrestle, you know, because like WWE contracts aren't guaranteed money. You get more money if you are featured, but if they decide not to feature you, you only get a fraction of what's in the contract, you know, just to like assure that you get paid, but you're not getting paid to do nothing, essentially. Vince went randomly decided that he's like, all right, so because you guys are WWE wrestlers, any money that you get from your outside ventures, WWE needs to be the one to get all that money, and then maybe we'll give you a small percentage of it. And it led to a lot of wrestlers who were working, who had YouTube channels, who had vlogs. Like Xavier Woods had his Let's Play channel where he would like essentially do like interviews with wrestlers, and they would play their favorite games, and it was all really cool. They just stopped. I remember Xavier had like, he went a year or something without posting a video to his YouTube channel, because they were just kind of like trying to work stuff out, because it just got ridiculous. CM Punk talks about it when he first left the company, how he wanted to go do a movie and they didn't let him do it, but then Triple H went to go do a movie. Batista went to do Guardians, and he was just like, hey, let me work with you guys, let's promote the movie, and like maybe we can do a thing, you know, and have draw like more eyes to the product. And WWE didn't want to work with Batista to promote it because they were so fucking butthurt. And like there's even a promo that Triple H cuts on Batista where he's like, yeah, good luck on whatever like shitty like indie movie that you find yourself in a year from now, don't come crawling back. And it's like, oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, the biggest movie of 2014. It's just so crazy to think about what could have been. So, sorry, to make a long story short, maybe that's why Mercedes is leaving. Maybe she's going to film something, kind of like how they do with Joe when he films like the Twisted Metal seasons and stuff.
Yeah, maybe she's getting her
she's getting her bag.
Ability to do something cool for herself. And get some rest as well. It's really exciting.
It's awesome.
So next up we have the TNT Championship defense of Hechicero versus Mark Briscoe. This is Mark's second title defense. I thought that this was a decent match. There were some points and I was like, what is going on? Mark really thrives on the crowd, I notice. He really eats that energy up. He interacts with the crowd a lot, which is nice. It makes for a good show. He's just a good all-around like wrestler. Like he takes big hits and he's just good.
Yeah, he's really putting it out there. He's got fucking 15 kids to feed, so
for
he needs to make sure
he's ready to work. I don't have a lot on this match. Just a couple of things that I was surprised that there was no Don Callis interference from the family because we knew that they were there from the promo earlier.
Yeah.
That was very interesting.
They're very selective with their interference, and it's kind of, it doesn't take me out of the show, but it just makes me think about, I guess, in universe and storyline about like the hierarchy, the Don Callis family. Like everyone's out there to help Okada or Kyle Fletcher, but when it comes to somebody like Hechicero, I guess he must be pretty low on the totem pole.
Well, and it's so funny because they just were like, Hechicero is gonna be the one to bring the gold back to the family, and like they pushed so hard for it, yet they didn't help him.
Yeah, there was a bit of confusing spot. So Mark likes to do a jumping dive to the outside using a chair as kind of like a platform, similar to what Sabu used to do, except I noticed he does it a little bit safer in the sense where he just kind of like steps over the rope while grabbing onto the top rope, as opposed to Sabu, who would just like put his life into his own hands and just kind of like jump on the chair. But it led to a lot of times where it would mess up because the chair slips, or he like, as he's like pushing off of it, it like slides out of the way or something crazy like that. But all that to say, after that spot, like Hechicero interrupts it, but then he grabs the chair and he hits Mark with it right in front of the ref when he's trying to like get him to get back into the ring, you know, because it's not a no DQ match. And we're just like, Sarah and I were immediately taken out of the match because of that spot, and it like didn't ruin the match for us by any means, but it was just kind of like one of those moments where you're just like, is that not a DQ? Yeah. So you just, I guess they just have to be careful, and I know like you can explain it away with like, you know, referee's discretion, but after the bullshit DQ finish during the Marina versus Tony match, it kind of like draws, I don't want to say unwanted, but just some like tension, I guess, to the company. It gives me like WCW in the year 2000 vibes, where it was just kind of like the only rule is that there's no rules or something, and like there were low blows all the time. They did chair spots, like interference spots out the yang, and then at the end of the day you're just kind of like, what am I watching? And then the company died. So it's just those kind of things that we have to try and pay attention. And I know it's a little like nitpicky, but you have to be consistent. That's why a lot of the times I don't like the spot where like the heels cheat to win and then the referee doesn't see it, but then a second referee comes out and it's just like, I saw what happened, we gotta restart the match. It's very contrived because like at that point, why don't you do it for every single match where that happens? Because you can't like discriminate, I guess, because it just breaks it shatters the illusion, because at least AEW is at least trying to keep kayfabe alive, as opposed to WWE where they're just putting out full documentary series talking about like, you know, yeah, it's fake and get over it. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna do what we're gonna do.
It's annoying, yeah. So yeah, now after I wanted to mention, I forgot to mention it last time during the Mark promo on Dynamite, but I really like the design of Mark's belt specifically. I like that they're going back to, I don't know if it's just for Mark or if every TNT champion is going to have a unique title belt from now on, but I liked that Mark restarted that tradition, I guess. It's not just the one title design again, because it's reminiscent of old 2019-2020 AEW, which I'm nostalgic for. Mark specifically, I like that the strap was not fully black. There was a little bit of white. It was mostly gray, but it helps a lot of the gold on the actual like faceplate. It like pops really nicely.
Yeah.
And the silver on the actual belt as well accentuates the gold even more. I liked it a lot. I should show you. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it fits him because it's got the camo.
Yeah.
The leather part of it, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of camo in general, but I mean it fits him and it accentuates the metal of the belt really well. I really liked Miro's when he was TNT champion, and I liked Scorpio Sky because he was from LA, so he had like Lakers themed TNT title, and then they kind of stopped it, I guess, because it was in the middle of like when they were hot potatoing it between Scorpio and Sammy. Do you remember that? It was like when we first started watching. So they're just like, yeah, we can't be like designing a new belt for everyone.
Right.
It was pretty funny. So yeah, that's the last thing I wanted to say, just because I didn't get a chance to say it last time. I hope we get to see more unique TNT title belts for every champion.
And Mark retained, obviously, which
Yeah.
I think we expected him to retain. I think it would be silly to have Sarah win. But it was good. And then we got Orange Cassidy and Roderick. They came out and celebrated him winning, which was really cute.
Yeah, it's awesome. Again, another way that they can make the show and the roster feel integrated, I guess, as far as these people are friends. They're not just the conglomeration, I guess, are more so friends as opposed to the Don Callis family, where it's like very business.
Yeah.
Like we're business associates and we're helping each other because it helps us as a collective make more money, blah, blah, blah.
Next up, we got the interview with Lexi from Eddie and Ortiz and the Grizzled Young Vets.
Oh yeah, that was kind of nothing.
Yeah,
but they're gonna have a match.
Yeah,
reap what you sow. I don't reap. It reminded me. Oh, I don't sow. No, I don't sow. I reap, or something like that. He was about to sound tough, but it didn't sound tough.
And even they were like, "What?"
Yeah.
They're gonna have a match at Maximum Carnage Collision.
Yeah. So I wonder if I didn't catch to see if that was gonna be on Saturday or if they were doing like a 3-hour Dynamite sort of deal.
I don't know. I didn't see that either.
Yeah, we'll have to check. I had no idea that there was even a Maximum Carnage Collision. I thought it was gonna be like Fighter Fest or Winter is Coming, where it's just
Dynamite
a show.
Insane. Yeah, because I made notes. I was like, oh, Maximum Carnage Collision, they specified. And then we got another video package for Kenny returning to Maximum Carnage Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
So that will happen on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll build the feud with Max after all is said and done. And then right after that, interestingly enough, we got an FTR promo, but they mentioned Adam Copeland.
Yeah.
Which it's
Weird.
been...
It was after...
Was it Texas? No, it was Toronto. It was a show in Toronto.
Yeah, because he fought with Christian in Toronto. Yep.
Yeah, and then they did that injury spot with Beth. Oh yeah, Edge is just like, I gotta go for a while, and that's when people assumed that he was gonna be Cena's last opponent. Fans speculated, like maybe they worked something out, maybe they're letting Cope do the match with Cena. But yeah, right, like you said. So I feel like we'll definitely be getting the Edge and Christian FTR feud sooner rather than later, which I'm happy about, because I hate that the tag team, the belts aren't being defended on a regular basis, because why have them if you're not gonna... And I get it, they're heels, so they're not gonna like answer every challenge. They're like, I'm not stupid, like, why would I do that? Why would I fight every week and tire myself out so that I can lose the titles randomly on a bad... But then it doesn't make Brodito look good. It's not going to make Jet Speed look good, because the plan is obviously to wait for Edge and Christian, I guess. So I'm happy that we're getting the ball rolling on that finally. The next segment was our second women's match of the night, a trios match featuring Maya World, Hyann, and what was her name? Bert Vixen.
Bert Vixen, yeah.
Yeah, against the Babes of Wrath, which was surprising because they weren't. I didn't see it advertised on the show that Harley and Willow and everybody was wrestling. So it's
they did on Dynamite. They mentioned that they would be in action, but they didn't say. They said that there was going to be a trios match of them in action, but not who was going to be there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed that.
Which I think Vet Vixen is another Texas native. So.
Oh yeah, because they're at the eSports Arena again, so that's in Dallas. So yeah, they're definitely gonna roll out the Texas natives as much as they can, and that also explains why there was a lot more lucha on the show.
Keep it. I love it. AEW fans seem to love it.
Yeah, for sure. It makes me want to watch the fucking CMLL show.
Oh my god.
Because apparently, like, CMLL is the best kept secret in wrestling. Like, people were, like, legit saying, why aren't more people watching CMLL? Because, like, Mystica's there, and it's just... lucha libre, flippy dippy
Yeah.
stuff. Like if what we're seeing on AEW is anything like what's going on in CMLL right now, which it should be because they're CMLL wrestlers.
Right.
Like, oh my god, like what are we missing out on? You know?
Yeah, we should watch it sometime
Yeah.
amongst all the wrestling we watch.
We'll add it to the list.
Yeah. So this match, Babes of Wrath and Chris, I think really, I mean, it was decent. I think what was mostly coming out of it was the continuing feud with Sisters of Sin and Tekla, the Triangle Madness, with Chris specifically, and just calling out that their friendship is fake. And Tekla's like, I've got my sisters.
Oh yeah, it's like I don't have friends, I have sisters.
Yeah, so that was really the biggest thing. It was a decently long match, which is good.
Yeah, it wasn't a squash like the other women's match was. Mina got in and out of there in like 5 minutes, and Brody even less time. So we say the show flew by, but it was honestly because 2 of the 7 matches were less than 10 minutes combined.
Yeah, they were like 30 seconds each. At least the Brody one was like 30 seconds, and then the Mina one was probably like 5 minutes of that.
Yeah, but they're doing what they need to do. Like Brody's getting built up for the belt. Mina, they're keeping the ball rolling because I guess Tony's not there, and Marina already had a segment with Megan and Skyflight and all that jazz. It's keeping them relevant. It's keeping them in people's heads. So when they start the story back up again, they can be like, oh yeah, they did that on Collision. There was a funny line. So Nigel's commentary was really good this week as well. Nigel said something along the lines of about Hyann and Maya World. They're just like, would go so far as to call her that bitch, and he's like, not me, I wouldn't dare.
That's so funny. Yeah, their commentary was really good this week on Collision. And one thing, speaking of commentary, I noticed is they're really painting Chris as somebody that is trustworthy. So it makes me even more convinced that something's going to happen there with Willow and Chris, whether it be Willow turn on Chris or Chris ultimately end up turning on Willow again.
I don't know. I think Willow's gonna be one of those characters that's just perpetually a baby face, kind of like Sting, like where he's heel for like very brief periods of time in his career, but Sting is so popular that they're gonna cheer him regardless of what he does. So it just makes more sense to turn them babyface again. So if anything, I feel like maybe Chris will turn, maybe Harley will turn with her.
Yeah. Maybe.
Just to kind of like end their kind of tag team and kind of spin off a feud for maybe even the women's title after if they end up losing them, you know.
Yeah, definitely. So
I'd like to see it maybe at All In, because All In this year is going to be in the UK again, so it might be a nice little marquee match to have. Yeah, so Tekla, Love Makes Me Sick, Fake Friendship, I Don't Need Friends, I Have My Sisters, and then this is what I've been waiting for the last 2 goddamn weeks. It's like, what the fuck happened to Okada? Well, we know what happened to Okada. What the fuck happened to Kyle? He got dropped on his head. I guess he died for 2 weeks. And then in the middle of Don Callis filming a promo for AEW, God knows where, I imagine in Japan, because I imagine like he was there. I don't know if he did anything as far as like on the promos or anything on the actual Wrestle Kingdom card. That's what's so cool about wrestling, you know, you can cut a promo and like email it to somebody and be like, all right, that's work for the week. So to take it from the beginning, Don Callis essentially is talking about how it sucks that Okada lost the Continental Classic, but he was able to put away his greatest rival in Hiroshi Tanahashi, and he's just glazing Okada like a Krispy Kreme donut, and he doesn't see Kyle walk into frame, and Kyle's just like, hey man, what's up? I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks. Do we want to talk about Okada? And of course Don's just like, I don't know what you're talking about, you know, everything's fine, like we're live, pal. Kyle is essentially like, hey, I know you saw what I saw. I know you saw me put that screwdriver in the turnbuckle. I guess Okada must have seen him do it too, because he used it. Not only did he stab Takeshita in the head with it, who's supposedly his partner, or if not, like a WPA, workplace proximity associate. And eventually, like, Kyle is just like venting to Don about like what happened. And then Don is just like, Kyle, buddy, like, I don't know where all this anger is coming from, but he essentially gaslights Kyle into just being like, hey, it's not Okada's fault that you lost the TNT title. That's your fault.
Yeah.
So we just need to
like, yeah, he was like saying something along those lines of, I never wanted you to go for the Continental Classic in the first place. Like, you should have been focused on the TNT Championship, which is why you lost it. This is not Okada's fault. You know, match 7 is coming soon with Mark Briscoe to get the TNT title. Yeah. So, like, don't worry about what Okada's doing, pretty much. Like, your focus needs to be on the TNT title.
Yeah, he said, get back into the TNT title. I feel like that'll be a great use for all of this energy.
Yeah.
Like, because he doesn't understand, like, why Kyle is, like, coming up to him and just, like, pissed. He's either completely oblivious and an idiot, or he's doing it on purpose because, and, like, they mentioned it on commentary, and he's mentioned it before, where I just like my family member, like, what's a little friendly competition between friends, you know? But I feel like he's ultimately trying to, he's like the dads that, like, tries really hard to get his kids into sport, and, like, he obviously favors one over the other. He sees, like, little Johnny's going to be in the NFL, so we got to focus on him. And then the other kids are like, hey, can you not neglect me for a second? And they're just like, I don't know what you're talking about. You need to get your shit together, you know? So it's really interesting to see that the pot is finally boiling over. And I don't know if I guess they must have been waiting for Wrestle Kingdom to finally get the ball rolling on that, because they want to give Tanahashi a proper retirement, and Tony, as a fan, would be stupid to deny him that, because he signed a lot of the people who worked with Tanahashi during, like, the best parts of his career. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm so excited that we finally got follow-up to story, and I'm intrigued to see what'll happen. I wonder, I'm assuming it's gonna be like maybe a 3-way between Kyle, Takeshita, and Okada for the international title, or there's enough fucking people in the Don Callis family that they could have their own blood and guts match, where it's like when the NWO got too big for its own good, and they, like, started doing, like, offshoots of it, like NWO Wolfpack, NWO, like, 2000, if that.
At that point, just fucking break it up. Like, just kick some people out.
It was,
like, honestly, like, Takeshita, Kyle, I feel like they got what they needed from this.
Yeah, it's good. I kind of see, I see the vision. So, like, the family starts off with Kyle and Takeshita, and, like, Okada's already established, so he adds a lot of, like, the name value to the group. They rotate out talent. So, like, this year it's Takeshita, Fletcher, he's losing a lot of matches this year, but maybe in a year and a half's time, after, like, the Takeshita and Okada story is done, maybe he'll be the next, like, big guy. He'll be the next Takeshita or Fletcher.
Well, and we're even starting to see that in the promos and stuff too. I feel like Josh Alexander's getting a little bit of a voice and, like, doing more promos. So he's slowly becoming, like, a bigger part of the Don Callis family. So
yeah. So him and Lance are gonna be, I guess, the two, like, big singles guys, maybe, and then they brought in the Jake Doyle and Mark Davis. Maybe they'll be, like, the tag guys.
Yep.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and I'm excited to see where this is headed. I'm excited to let it play out, which I know is a bit of a cop out. People usually just say, like, when they're not a fan of the book, and they're just like, you know what, we'll let it play out. You know, I'm not a fan right now, but give it a chance. You know.
But it's true here.
Very much so. They've done a really good job with Kyle and the slow burn of Takeshita and Okada. Because 6 months ago, Kyle was just like, hey man, like, you just gotta calm down. Like, Okada's all of our friends, you know, so we gotta stick together and make it work. But he sees it now.
He sees it now, exactly.
Don's, like, delusion, and so it's costing him matches, and, like, in universe, that should piss you off because it's costing you money. In the real world, the sports aspect of it, there's a winner and a loser, and the winner gets more money. And because he didn't win the tournament, he's potentially missed out on a payday, you know, on a much bigger payday than had he gotten second place. Like you've seen esports tournaments where you see like the difference in the amount of money that they get between first and second place. Like I'm with Kyle, I'd be pissed too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for that promo.
For sure. Yeah, I went on a bit of a
going on a tangent.
Going on a tangent. Remember when I said we would try to cut these down?
Yeah, definitely. We're getting there. So
yeah.
after that, we just got a little video package for Bandito leading up to Maximum Carnage for his match against MJF. He basically just says, I'm not afraid, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the next champion, which we know he's not going to be, maybe.
Maybe. I'm excited. I'm cautiously optimistic, but
yeah.
Wouldn't it be crazy?
Wouldn't
it be crazy if they made Bandito the champion?
But we'll see how that plays. And then we get our main event, the Demand with Ricochet and Gates of Agony versus Jet Speed. And because this is a trios match, they needed an extra person, although Jet Speed just wanted to get their rematch. They didn't care. They would have done it 2v3. But Anthony Bowen steps up. He's like, if it's anybody other, like he just wants to wrestle, but he doesn't want to wrestle with
Max.
So he's like,
so
I'll
funny.
take the match. So we got to see a little trios action there.
It was a little annoying, however, that Jet Speed ran in there without. Sorry, it's annoying to see Jet Speed run in there without their partner Bowens, because it makes I get what they're going for. They're going for like the valiant, you know, baby face, like let's get it, you know, like even though we're outnumbered, we're still gonna fight our hearts out, blah blah blah. But they did it during the Hurt Syndicate feud, and if you do something like that too many times, you run the risk of not looking valiant but looking like an idiot, because like an idiot because you're just running in there knowing that you have the numbers disadvantage, and you go in there trying to clutch a 2v3 and you get your asses kicked, and then you end up losing the match. So that was like my first big complaint about it, because I feel like they both, Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, deserve more than just a random tag team feud with the Demand. You know, I feel like if anyone were to take the titles off the Hurt Syndicate, I would have liked it to have been Jet Speed. But I'm happy that it was Bandito. We had the potential for some really good matches and feuds there, which we got.
And it helped Brody, it helped Bandito in the long run, like it helped them in the long run.
So the draw, I guess I'm not sure if any of them are feuding with Ricochet specifically. This was more so about the bounty that Don Callis and his family placed on Jet Speed. So it's a feud by proxy, I guess.
Yeah.
The Demand, I don't know if they've already collected the bounty or if the bounty is still ongoing, or like what's going on. But I would like them to move on. I'd like to see more for the Gates of Agony as well as Jet Speed.
Yeah, just move on. It's done, and like we're over it.
Yeah, it's been a couple of months now, because Jet Speed wrestled the Hurt Syndicate in like November, October, and we're doing our part, I guess, in rehabilitating the tag scene in AEW, because the tag titles were pretty irrelevant until the Hurt Syndicate won them, and like they had that story with Private Party winning him, and then the Hurt Syndicate won him like 2 weeks, but 2 weeks later, because they weren't doing much to make Private Party look like credible champions. So the Hurt Syndicate came in, and they weren't going to lose their debut feud because they would look really weak, so they just took the titles off Private Party, and they just haven't been doing much, and now they're back on FTR to eventually go to Edge and Christian. So the tag matches are good, the wrestling is good. Eventually you're going to need some stakes outside of just theoretical like money matches, or like, oh, there's a bounty, that's why they wrestled Brian Keith, he's the bounty hunter. Kind of three here.
I'm sorry, I'm healing.
Oh, 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 oh.
I'm coming.
Okay, sorry. There were some points in this match where it got really sloppy, and I hate saying this about AEW because they're like professionals and like they're obviously putting their bodies on the line every single week for our entertainment. But Jesus Christ, if Mike didn't just fucking leap over the top rope, not have enough momentum to like carry him the full distance. And I think Toa Leona was out of position as well, but he just didn't get enough, I guess, momentum or forward momentum to get him to clear the apron, and his fucking back just smashed against the apron so hard. And I'm just like, oh my god, dude, like
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't knock the wind out of his chest. I mean, it looked like it fucking hurt.
I'm sure he did.
I wrote that they were flipping, flopping, and throwing themselves at each other like fish. 'Cause that's all I could. They were just using their body, especially like with someone like Toa Leona, where he's big, you know, and Bishop Khan's big as well, and like Ricochet, we know, as I said, like he plays a really good ragdoll. And then of course you get the high flips and flying from jet speed. It was all over the place. I was like, Jesus, they're just flopping around like fish.
Yeah, they made Toa Leona look like $1 million again.
Like what's going on? Why are they pushing? I mean, I get it. I love it. I'm here for it. He's strong. But where is this going, you know?
Yeah, I don't think they'll split up anytime soon, but I feel like eventually they're gonna give maybe Toa some singles gold, which would be nice to see.
Yeah.
Maybe he can win like the national title off of the person who beats Ricochet for it. I think it'd be nice to see like a little parallel to the Christian Cage and Luchasaurus feud. Remember when Luchasaurus actually won the belt, but Christian was calling himself the champion?
Oh yeah.
It might be interesting to see that with like Ricochet and his personality. It was kind of cool.
Funny.
Yeah, and that's just me like fantasy booking, but I like to see like Ricochet in more like serious wrestling roles, but at the same time, you know, a lot of baby faces in wrestling can be pretty boring. So it's good that he's doing like the smarmy, cocky, like heel stuff that he can just ragdoll around and make his opponents look good while also being legitimate and being one of the better performers in the company, you know. All that to say, the Demand eventually picked up the victory after they took out Jet Speed and Anthony Bones was on his own. He was on his own, and then he hit the mollywop, but Ricochet, he blind tagged out when Bishop Khan stuck onto the apron, and they pinned Bowens. And during the beatdown spot, they also had Max Caster come out, which was interesting to see because he came out and he was just like, yeah, beat him up more. But then, but then eventually he decided that he was gonna help, which was awesome. But then, like, the rest of the Don family came out, and
the Don Callis family came out,
and then the conglomeration came out.
So it goes back to that whole cohesiveness. Everybody's fucking in it for something, you know?
Yeah.
Which I love. And I even remember that was like the post CM Punk with like the Young Bucks and like the start of the Death Riders. Like that was one of my favorite things, is that it felt like there were so many people involved and so many storylines that overlap that you know, and we're kind of getting a little bit more of that now that like a lot of the injured people are back, like Swerve and Hangman and MJF, and like, so it's nice to see that there's cohesion again in the company.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm a little reluctant to see the world title picture just turning into the MJF show again, because I don't want the same thing to happen that happened the last time, was where they like made the whole show about his relationship with Adam Cole, like because they were like doing the tag team thing together, but Max was still defending the world title, and they were doing like stuff with Roderick, and MJF had like his 4-way match. So like everybody, like it was just the Max show. And then after all was said and done, and Max got injured because he wrestled every week because he was the center of everything, they didn't have anything to do. They didn't have a story that they could kind of pivot to, because everything had been focused on these two guys, Max and Adam, who were both injured at the same time. And so it's just like, well, what the fuck do we do now? Because like Max is hurt, Adam's hurt, Jay's hurt, and then it just kind of the product kind of stalled out for a little bit. It took them a while to build up the story, because they had to do like the triple threat with Swerve, and then Swerve eventually beat Joe for the title. It just took a while, I guess, to get the ball rolling again, is my point. But overall, it was a very good show. I'm excited for Maximum Carnage. I'm excited to see everyone. I'm excited to see Kenny back, and I'm interested to see where the story will go after Wednesday. I'm not sure if Collision is going to be on the same night, although it makes it seem like it might be.
Yeah, maybe, because they mentioned having both Maximum Carnage, Collision, and Dynamite, and they don't typically do that unless it's all together. So maybe it's a 3-hour episode.
Yeah, maybe make our jobs a little easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
overall, good week. Yeah. Any questions that you have that you wanted to talk about? Any
questions that I had? Not necessarily. So, Run away.
Oh
no.
Questions.
My question would be, so it looks like the women's title feud is going to be between Chris and Tekla, and like the Sisters of Sin will go for the tag belts. But do you think that Tekla is going to beat Chris for the belt? And if not, who do you think it'll be?
So in my opinion, I don't think that Chris is going to lose to Tekla.
Okay.
I think I see Tekla going maybe after the TBS championship.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Babes of Wrath maybe will beat the Sisters of Sin.
The Babes of Sin.
The Sisters of Sin will beat Babes of Wrath for the tag team belts. Mm-hmm. And then Tekla will go after the TBS championship next, after she loses against Chris.
Yeah.
And then I think that Mercedes is going to be the one to beat Chris.
Oh, interesting.
When she returns.
Yeah, I wonder. It makes me wonder if Mercedes is going to wrestle, because she's got a bunch of belts still. So she's just gonna wrestle everyone until she loses all of her belts, or is she gonna like vacate him, and how long is she gonna be gone? I imagine she'll be back around, if not Grand Slam, because she's one of the biggest. I don't want to even say like international stars, which she is now, given like her last couple of years since leaving WWE. But as far as like mainstream, like, because most of the casual audience knows, like, when you mention wrestling, the first thing they know is WWE. And Sasha Banks is more known, I guess, around the world than Mercedes Moné is. So if I were booking the show, I definitely want someone like a name like Sasha or Mercedes on the big like international show. So imagine she's gonna take like a couple of days off, and maybe she'll come back in Australia. But
maybe,
depending on how tickets are moving, they may or may not announce her appearance ahead of time.
Yeah. I genuinely hope she takes the time through until Revolution, honestly, because I just feel like she's gonna get that incredible pop, because she had been gone for so long, and like it builds to the feud and gives Chris a little bit more time, you know. But we'll see. Maybe she'll come back at Grand Slam and then go after Chris for the belt at Revolution. Like maybe that'll be the time that Chris drops it. But yeah, that's how I see it playing out, is that Willow loses the tag team belts first against Sisters of Sin. Give Tekla time to fight.
Get out of there. Sorry. Go to the left in that little room.
Left.
Yeah.
Right. Left. I'm fine. Look.
Okay,
I'm
you're
fine.
fine. You're fine. You're fine. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
But yeah, what do you think? What do you think's gonna happen? Do you think that Tekla's gonna beat Chris?
I would love it if she did, but that's just because I'm a fan of Tekla's for sure. I think she deserves more, and it sucks that Jamie Hayter got hurt not long after their feud started, and it kind of derailed everything for her. It's nice to see her in this position now, but it's very reminiscent of when AEW ran out of contenders for Britt when she was champ, and then eventually they just sorry, it's not Britt that I was thinking of. It's when Jade was at her peak in AEW, they would bring women in from like had like recently left WWE, or like would make their debut, like Ruby Soho, Athena, etc., and they would have a month's build, and then eventually they'd fight Jade and lose, and then they just kind of be doing something. Not in the title picture, I guess. So that's kind of happened to her, but I feel like this whole group with the Sisters of Sin and getting the feud with Chris has got her back to that point. So it'd be sucky if Tekla lost and just went right back down to feuding with random girls like that they attack backstage, I guess, because they were doing that thing like a week ago or two ago where they were just like, oh, Sisters of Sin are beating up people in the back again. Oh, and then go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna ask, like, has anyone, like, whether it be the men or the women, has anyone come in and their first belt that they win is the world title? Mercedes? No, obviously she didn't.
Technically, and I say technically, Christian did, but this was like he had first come into the company and Kenny was doing the belt collector stuff, and before WWE had a pay-per-view, or not a pay-per-view, a partnership with TNA, AEW did one, and Kenny went to TNA and he won the TNA world title, and he was world champion a little bit during the pandemic, and then not long after Christian debuted, beat Kenny Omega for the TNA world title. So that's why I say technically, but not for the AEW world title.
Because that's why I'm driving towards something else, and especially because she's feuding with them as a whole, especially she's kind of picking on Willow in a sense of you don't actually believe this bullshit,
Yeah,
so
she's got the same idea, I guess, as me, where I'm just like, you guys were feuding for half a year, and now all of a sudden, last week you make up because one of you both of you have titles now.
Yeah, so that's what makes me think maybe she's not ready for the world title just yet. I do truly think it's Mercedes time. So maybe she would be the one to beat Mercedes. Yeah. I don't know. But I feel like she needs to win something else first. Not saying that she isn't worth it but I just think with the way that AEW does things, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, the feuds with Willow and Chris, not necessarily for the belt, but as a competitor, I guess, in universe, in kayfabe, whatever you want to call it, you want the belt because the belt means you get more money.
Yeah.
She's just like, man, look at how easily you use your friends, when it's something that you want, but when Chris needed your help, you were nowhere to be found, or essentially just calling her a hypocrite and just saying the cheesy line of I don't have friends, I have sisters.
Sisters, yeah.
Which is annoying because they're not even related.
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
But yeah, I guess it's more so symbolic, I guess, to communicate their bond to the audience, because it's a stronger bond than just a friendship.
Yeah. Well, definitely let us know what you guys think. Do you think that Tekla is going to actually beat Chris when that feud actually comes to fruition, when they have their match? Do you think that maybe Tekla is going to do something else, like the TBS Championship? We'll have
Yeah,
to see.
leave a
So
comment
just
down below. Like the video
it-
and subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, and join our Discord. We'll try and put it in the description of the video for you guys. We love to talk about wrestling. Obviously, we can talk about it for